Okay, so there's obviously echo issues. Hopefully I fixed those. We're in the fellowship phase. For those at the table, there is grass for you to roll on for the dice to keep it muted so it doesn't sound like an avalanche of whatever that was. Wake up, it's dice time. So we're going to walk through the fellowship phase, and this may take a second before we get into the adventure, so I'm in no rush. Hopefully everybody else is okay as we're learning. This is... so there are three major phases in the game. There's the fellowship phase, the journey phase, and the adventure phase. Fellowship phase is basically to do high levels like, hey, we're all getting together, we're kind of getting some rumors or getting things going on a little bit and kind of figuring out what direction we want to go in. And then the journey phase is like, okay, let's actually journey there. And then the adventure phase could actually be kind of long, right? It could be like we're in the Tower of the Last Dawn and we're looking at books and we're looking at things. We got there and we're exploring and we're finding things, and maybe there's a battle, maybe there's not a battle. And with fellowship phases, this is when you get to level up. This and there's a special one called Yule, which we won't totally go over right now, which happens once a year. What you can do is actually daisy chain adventure phases and journey phases if you want. You could say, okay, like for example, on the Tower of the Last Dawn, Kyrian got a token, or you found out about the White Pilgrim, like, well, hey, let's go follow that. And so now you'd have another journey and another adventure. So you could kind of daisy chain all of these, stack up skill points, and then have your fellowship phase after that. It has to be in a safe haven for you to have this, and this is a place that you have visited that is established either in-game, as I'm saying, this is now a safe haven, a very safe place for you, or a well-known thing like Bilbo's house, right, or the Shire, or a place in the Shire that you know of. It's pretty safe there. Like, Stone's Thrown Inn is kind of safe haven-y, but like if there were some trouble happening, maybe it wouldn't be so safe. But like, we can kind of talk about that if you wanted to do a fellowship phase in the Shire. I think it's pretty safe there. Rivendale's obviously a well-known safe haven, and so is London. Any questions about that? Sweet. So in a fellowship phase, what you'll do is you'll choose where you want to have your fellowship phase. So let's say you're at the Stone's Throw Inn, and I say, hey, you know, we kind of journey there, and I kind of like that, following where you guys are going and making it, we're slowing the game way down, which is great. But you could just say, oh, we're at the Stone's Throw Inn, and you guys talk to each other and say, hey, where do we want to have our fellowship phase? Because we're done. We're ready to go level up. Do we want to just do it here in the Shire, or do we want to do it in London, or do we want to do it in Rivendell? Well, Rivendell would be too far. So really you're looking at about 100 miles or less. 100 miles is kind of maxing it. If you do want to go to Rivendell and you're like, nope, we want to go to Rivendell, then we'll probably do a journey phase or 2 journey phases to get you to Rivendell to have your fellowship phase. And so that's the rule. About 80 to 100 miles is like, that's a little far to be journeying without running into, you know, ne'er-do-wells.
Things and stuffs.
So keep that in mind. I don't have to dictate the fellowship phase. You guys can, and you can say, hey, remember that safe haven we found? That's only like 10 miles away. Let's go there and level up. Set duration, we'll talk about that. That's how long your fellowship phase is going to last. It's like a week to 3 months. Perform updates, that's the fun part, leveling up. And then choosing undertakings, which is like, during a fellowship phase, you all choose the undertaking that you want to do. And that's things like get rumors or do certain things. So we'll go over that. So that's the fellowship phase, where you want to fellowship, how long, get updated, you know, training or whatever, and then what kind of things do you want to do while you're doing your rest. We talked about that, which is cool. Oh, it's 5 hexes, so about 50 miles. I had it wrong. Is that tracking?
Yep.
Yep. Or 10 hexes of current location. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody wasn't doing math that day. I need a rules lawyer. Thrar, I think it's 10 hexes, right?
I think so. Let me double check here.
Okay, well, he's double checking on that.
One more slide for 2 seconds. Thank you. Choose destinations.
And then I'm happy to remind as we go through these things. But the good news is we've done adventures, we've done journeys. There's really only a couple of little things that you haven't done yet, like a council. And we'll deal with that later when it actually comes out.
I'm so sorry. I am a little bit I was late to the game.
We just started.
Yeah, the current rules don't specify.
Okay.
Undertaking and destination.
An undertaking is kind of the odd things that you're doing for the week or month that you're hanging out in Bree. And we'll go over those. And I think I did drill in, and it's about 10 hexes is considered reasonable difference when I was going
There
online.
There are different undertakings in each location that we arrive. Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
we
there's
go to
like
the destination like Rivendell.
Yeah, it's a general
Undertaking
thing.
is a general thing that the lore master will flavor based on where we are. But I can list a few of them. So some of the undertakings are like you gather rumors that are locally. You meet a patron. You learn a song. You ponder maps and stories.
Undertakings.
We'll go over
synonymous.
Yeah, we'll go over all of it. These are just the general points of what you're doing. So you choose destination, set duration, perform updates, which is leveling up, and choosing undertakings is essentially like a little task that everybody wants to do. And we'll see some of those examples.
Doing choose destination set. We've been doing it for a couple hours, for a couple months, a couple times.
No, not yet. We haven't done this yet. So choosing a destination.
Is this imagination set duration?
Yep.
Like the Rivendell quest would have been like.
No, that's a whole adventure. So if we back all the way up, and it's good to go over it a few times. So in a game, you have 3 phases. You have a fellowship phase, a journey phase, and an adventure phase. So when you guys first all met at Bree at the Prancing Pony, and you're kind of hanging out, that's like a fellowship phase. You guys were getting rumors, you were hanging out, and then you were figuring out which direction you wanted to go at the crossroads of Bree. That's kind of
That's the start of the journey.
It's the start of the journey. And then when you started rolling dice and actually moving along the road into the Shire and up to the Tower of the Last Arn, that's the journey phase. And then once you're there at the destination, that's when you have your adventure. So those are the main core movements of the game.
Sounds like my parent when they don't have exactly the money for my sneakers yet. So they're just moving the bar. Let's go have fun. Where's the journey now?
Yeah. It's
exactly like that.
Yeah.
So when we look at the very first phase of the fellowship, the one that we did was very organic, and we can still make it organic, but the construct of that hanging out at the Prancing Pony and figuring out what you want to do, the construction around that is really, you guys chose to, you didn't really, I made you choose, but you chose to be at the Prancing Pony, right? So if you're out on the road, and kind of like when you guys were at the Stone's Throw Inn, you're like, hey, let's go to Bree. Because you could have gone to Bilbo's house or you could have gone to Bree. So you chose to go to Bree. So you're choosing where you want to go. Then you're saying how long, which we'll do shortly, how long you want the fellowship phase to be.
Which has no real mechanical, it's just for flavor and for the overall overarching passage of time in the world. It has nothing to do like, this is how many sessions we're going to spend on this.
Yeah, and you want to connect it, and we'll see that. This is really high level.
In-game, because there's also a little bit of this that has come up outside of game to present to each other in this moment, is that when we're choosing our destinations or undertakings between us, travelers, us
Characters.
characters, are we all starting to understand our voice of the character that we're presenting versus the human that came to game, and how we are discussing our destinations and how long we want to do what?
100%.
That should be as, like, I'm Aurora right now, but I'm going to be Aldia any second if I can.
You are encouraged to do it as character, because this is less of a board game, more of a role play game. So as character, as Aldia, you'd be like, I really want to go to Rivendell, and so I think we should go to Rivendell, and maybe we could do our fellowship phase in Bree. And Paladin may say, but Esmeralda told us about the White Pilgrim, and what's that all about? I think we should adventure on. And that'd be like, we're skipping the fellowship phase and we're going into another adventure.
Well, it's not really skipping, it's delaying, because you're still accumulating points for every
right,
session.
you're accumulating the points, you're just kind of daisy chaining, and you're maybe not in a safe place, and you're going to level up later, right?
Yep. But you'll be able to level up more because you'll have more points.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's always an exception to the rule, because what's happening, if I was going to present everybody with just basics at a bank, we've all done it, is that sometimes you just need your debit card fixed, and you don't want an extra savings account. So you're not going to get the extra savings account, you're just going to get your debit card fixed, but they offered you all these options anyway, and you might need and forget that they have to help you with your PIN. And so you end up doing that. So is that kind of what this is, the scaffolding or the bones to our story versus what really might take place?
Right. Because these are the bones that can move around. So the fellowship phase is something that is a pause to level up, gain more rumors, heal. You can actually do some healing. And as you will find as you go into the world, you're in a place with a lot of safe havens right now. So you could kind of be like, fellowship phase, journey phase, adventure phase, repeat. But when you go further out, you're like, oh, there's no safe havens. We should head back to Bree. Ooh, it's more than 10 hexes. Oh my gosh.
It's like, if you want to think about it thematically, like the Lord of the Rings movies, they left the Shire, they went to Rivendell. There was a journey, there was an adventure. They got to Bree, which is a safe haven, but in that context, it wasn't really all that safe, and they only stayed one night. So eventually, they got to Rivendell. In the movies, you don't get a sense of it, but they spent months in Rivendell in the books. That's essentially a fellowship phase. Frodo had to heal from the Nazgul wound. They had to, people came, people left, they sent scouts to figure out what Sauron is doing. Then they left, and then they did a journey, right? They traveled, they tried to cross the mountains, they failed, then they went into Moria. That's a journey phase. Then they were in Moria, that's essentially an adventure. Then they got out of Moria, and they got to Lothlorien. Again, in the movies, it seems like they weren't there that long, but they were there for a long time. And that was, again, a fellowship phase where they rested and recovered. So that's sort of to give you the structure of...
And I swear Thrar and I did not put this together.
So, like, is in the movies, I love this. This is way better than my big analogy. Let's keep it, like, focused on the channel, right?
Yep.
But... because there's a lot of definitions that we actually never end up using. Only the lore monster is understanding that that's happening, and we can't. It's funner if we don't break our character to ask which part of this weird.
Yeah, so I've laid out an outline here of how long.
Lord of the Ring analogy, though. That was a lot. I have lots of essays in my head, so I always have to do the topic hook and then blah 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 whatever. So I apologize for the delay and the main point, which is my confusion was if we went to Rivendell and Frodo got the star in the bottle, that's an undertaking with my favorite Galadriel.
Well, we'll get to undertakings in a little bit. So I think this will answer the questions as we walk through.
That's where I'm getting a little bit confused.
So, to try and clarify it, and again, you don't get a sense of it in the movies, but you do in the book. When they got to Rivendell, Frodo had to recover from the Nazgul wound that he got at Weathertop, right? So that's like the healing portion of what the fellowship phase is. In the books, Aragorn got the shards of Narsil reforged into Anduril. That's like leveling up. And they also sent scouts out to see what Sauron's people are doing in Middle-earth in general. That's essentially an undertaking. It's gathering rumors what's going on outside.
In any game, I would like to take somebody's queen, and thus I don't know how it's actually going to happen. So it's more like navigating the ship. It's not an actual reward or anything like that. So that's the difference. Okay, so the undertaking is kind of the goal of our party, not the actual outcome.
Well, we're gonna break down each one. So set duration, and then we'll go through each one of these so that you understand.
I think I have a better understanding of the two different words on top of all of the other mini quests that we're collecting, and those mini quests are not called undertakings. So that's where I'm glad I'm not.
No, they're not.
I kind of understand it as undertakings are during the fellowship phase, like all the background things that happen in that time, right?
Correct.
Like in the movie, like when Aragorn's just reading a book, like he's kind of just like resting, but also maybe studying up on something. Like it's just like all these background things that during the rest phase.
It's not just one thing.
No.
And we'll see those in a little bit. So
you gain all that experience or whatever's happening there. You gain that as something that you can carry with you onto the next adventure.
Correct. That's undertakings. They sort of give you a partial boost for the next journey and adventure. They're like you're collecting essentially a resource that you can then use later on, whether it's knowledge or skills or songs, which are a mechanic. Which I'm sure Matthew will get into. So
I think I have a better understanding. It was causing me a real issue, so I clarified this multiple times, and now I really do have a better understanding. You guys are all helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. So we're starting with like, here's the main chunks, and then we're going to go into each one and break down what they do. So for setting the duration, basically, what does the story dictate? And thank you, Thrar. I think it's good looking at the movies, which is like 1 day to 1 week. I think 1 week is the minimum, and 3 months is the maximum, and it's usually reserved for Yule.
Because it's winter.
And it's to lean into the story, not to lean into game mechanics. So what's happening? Light recovery, kind of like the by nightfall, this land will be crawling with orcs. Obviously, they didn't stay there for a week. But it's the idea of like, we're not staying here very long, guys. We're moving on. 2 to 4 weeks, healing and reflection. These are not rules. These are guidelines to kind of go, what's happening right now? Did somebody get kind of injured? Did we get kind of beat up? Are we really needing to recoup? Or are we just kind of taking a breather and moving on? 1 to 2 months, serious injury. And this is something to think about. Like if people got lit up with bows and barely survived and everybody's really beat up, I as a GM might step in and say, nah, you guys aren't doing a 1 week. You guys need a minute. And then 3 months, this is a big pause and reconnect, or maybe there's some major, and that's what you see in Yule. You can start getting rid of some shadow scars and some major things. So that's setting a duration. I have set the duration for Bree, but I'll let you guys percolate on this and begin talking amongst yourselves about, hey, how long should we stay in this location for the next fellowship phase? Does that seem okay?
Yep.
So just set it for 1 week, unless anybody hates that.
Yep. I think, if I remember correctly, Eldrin said he needs 2 weeks to study the book. So I came into the assumption that we're spending 2 weeks in Bree while he's figuring out whatever he's figuring out in the books.
Yeah. So we'll do 1 week to 2 weeks, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yep.
No spoilers.
No.
I have, we'll see, I guess. Perform updates. This is what everybody wants to do for sure, and we're going to do it in a second. So fatigue is fully removed. Don't let me gyp you on that. So all of your fatigue is now removed. Please do that. And also a quick correction from Aldier's curse. that should have all been fatigue. So some of you received a little bit of shadow.
Yep.
That was from Aldi, and some of you received a little bit of shadow from other things. And I think did I come up with how much?
Throwing shade.
I think it was 3 shadow points that Aldi created, or something like that.
On my sheet, I currently have 1. So
okay. So if you received, and if you recall, I think
I used it twice.
Used it twice.
Everybody should have. I should wait. No, hold on.
Not everybody. Like I didn't get any shadow, but
you didn't get any shadow.
I might have shot 3 times. I shot once when we went over the water, and then I shot twice while they were sleeping.
There was 3 times.
yeah, and if we were asleep, then we probably didn't catch it.
You didn't
Right,
catch
so
it.
then they only get 1.
Yep.
No, there was no shadow when you guys were asleep.
That's only 1 shot. The original shot.
Yep.
Right when I got it, this is a picture of the scroll. So when I got the picture, the letter, I immediately got surprised by not immediately. The next. It said.
Okay.
I said it.
So if you Paladin did not get any shadow, so that's good. Everybody's fatigue is fully removed. Kyrian, did you get any shadow from?
So I have 2 shadow, but I was present for one of those bow and arrow shots from Aldi.
So you can remove that one.
So I should have had like 1 fatigue, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, but then that is now wiped out. So I apologize. I'm still getting some of the things down. In game, things happen, and I try to recorrect it and refactor in your guys' favor. Wounded, our endurance, recover all your endurance. So you get to go up to your max endurance.
Yep.
I think there's something with if you're wounded, the endurance recovers a little slower. I don't think anybody's wounded, so we can kind of move on just to kind of keep us getting closer to the adventure. Spiritual recovery, you recover hope equal to your heart rating. You can't go past your max hope. So you'll look at your heart and you've got 2 numbers. You got your target number and you got that little rating number. And that rating number is how much hope you get to recover.
Yep.
Target number and your hope number are the same.
There's a little number next to each of the in the character sheet. There's like a strength and a heart and a wits, and there's
mine's like maximum 16, current 16, but my target number is 15, so that's a mistake.
well, there should be a rating number that's like a 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that.
There should be a rating, a target number, and then hope under heart,
5?
endurance under strength, and parry under wits.
So your rating 5 and your hope is 5.
No, you get to increase your hope up to your max. So, like, let's say your max was 25. Yep.
That's what we're doing. Okay, great.
Yep. And if you were already at max, you don't get to go above it.
So
I
heart
was
rating.
missing 1.
Yeah, back at 10.
I was down 1 hope, and my rating is 4. But my max is 12, so I only gain 1 to a maximum of 12.
Hey.
Interfering with an enemy's plans in some way, you get to remove 1 shadow, and none of that really occurred. And then we're talking about kind of major enemies that have plans. Actively hindering enemy, remove 2 shadow again. That didn't really happen. And gain the attention of the enemy or direct minions, remove 3 shadows. So none of that occurred. Something to keep in mind that I have not been doing yet is keeping track of eye rolls. So whenever you roll an eye, and this will start happening, but not yet. I need to be keeping track of it. The more eye rolls, you start to attract the enemy, and they start to notice you. Oh my gosh! Finally, leveling up. Right? Who's leveled up so far?
I did my level up on the side.
Okay.
I'm done.
So this is the little chart here, and we can walk through it. But basically, you get a maximum of 1 skill level for each skill or combat. So when you look at your sheet, You've got the skills up above for awe and insight and riddle. Those are your skills. So you can level up one skill for each skill if you want, but you can't double level up. So you can't say, I'm going to get insight and I'm going to get more insight, if I have that correct.
Yep, you can only go up one level per skill per fellowship.
Right, and that makes sense because you're having a fellowship, you're learning something new, you're working with a sword trainer, you're not like all of a sudden I'm Neo and I know Kung Fu and I know this and I know that and I can fly a helicopter, right? So, nope. So maximum one skill level for each skill or combat. So you can do multiple different things in combat, but you can't multiply up in one thing like spears.
Assuming you have the points for it.
Assuming you have the points. And then you can gain a new blessing with a wisdom or valor level up. So as you level up your wisdom or valor, you can get a blessing, or a reward, which we'll look at. So this table kind of walks you through this a little bit. So if we look at skills, and this is an interesting thing when you go online and you look at the books, it goes back and forth a little bit. So I think Thrar is our official rule lawyer, and somebody can be a second rule lawyer if we want. But the skill points are for skills. The adventure points are for wisdom or valor or combat proficiencies.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And you can spend as many skill points as you have on whatever combination of skills you want, not 2 in one type, and you can only get 1 combat proficiency, 1 valor, or 1 wisdom, even if you have enough points for more.
Right. You only get 1 of these, so you got to choose wisely. So looking at skill points first. So let's say you had no skills whatsoever. It's going to cost you 4 points to get that skill or adventure point cost. If you want
So in this case, skill, because we're talking about skills.
Yep. So skills. And then if you wanted to go, like let's say you already had 2 pips and you wanted to go up to 3, then it's not the difference between 8 and 12. It's actually 12 skill points to go up to that next one.
Yep.
And then this works the same for the levels of your wisdom and valor. So if you're at a level, everybody should be at level 1. When you go to level 2, it'll cost you 8 adventure points.
Yep.
We
So
have currently.
I think we all have 9, right?
Yeah.
You'll
And
have
we should
9.
all have 9 adventure points and 9 skill points. So you can spend.
Before you spend them, you get little biscuits and nuggets for your valors and wisdoms that might be of interest to everybody. But I'll go ahead, Thrar.
No. I was just going to say, so since everyone should have 9, with 9 points, you can either take any skill, with 9 skill points, you can either take any skill that you have 1 in and take it to 2, or you can take 2 skill points that you have 0 in and take both of them to 1, or not do anything. You can just save up as well. Like you say, like if you have 3 in something and you really want to get to 4, it means you're going to need 20 points. So you can just not spend.
We can rearrange our points. Like I have sewing and craft, and I'm like,
no,
I'm done with that.
You can't downgrade skills. You can't downgrade
rearrange.
skills, and you can't downgrade and then get points back. No refunds. No refunds.
You had that chance
So
with the Lothlorien book.
Okay, fine, guys. I misunderstood.
If you don't have...
We're gonna either... So, alright, so right now, can we just maybe...
You could also get a wisdom or a valor or a
anybody want a
new...
wisdom or a valor now? Like, at this point? Like, is there a way to be simple?
Yeah,
learn and apply it?
Yep. So if you get a wisdom and you say, hey, we can go back and forth on this a little bit. If you get a wisdom, these are, I believe... These are the valor ones.
These are the rewards that you get for valor.
Yeah, these are rewards you get for valor, and you just get to pick one. You'd be like, oh, I leveled up in my valor, so I'm going to pick one of these. I get a grievous weapon, which...
You can add that trait to one of your weapons.
Yep.
I guess hunting was something that I was missing. I'm a very good bowswoman, but I think that I'm motivated to be better at other shooting during the game. And
so you would
better to
spend
do.
points into that if that's what you want to go for, and that's where you want your character.
I'll just be
to
an
go.
example,
Yep.
and then we can say yes or no.
Okay, if we want to do an example, then you can put stuff into your combat proficiency, or you can put stuff into your skill for hunting, and then you'd have 4 or 5, you'd have 5 points left over. But you wouldn't be able to get a Valor, Wisdom.
No,
But you
would.
could do
would.
one combat proficiency that you're
I
not proficient in
understand.
yet.
Hold on. Instead of adding it together for us, I need to build a. Sorry. At this point, the bias is you'll lose out on Valor and Wisdom, right?
Not
It's only 9 points.
Not for skills.
Skill points.
Not for skills.
Skills are
Skill
all-
points are for skills, and ability points are for.
We need to slow down.
Okay. Fair enough.
There's only 9 points. I'm not that lost. I'm actually a little bit. What is it called? Bottoming. When I'm trying to have us slow down. I'm not presenting I'm lost. Then, lore guide, I apologize, but then you started defining something that wasn't even quite answered fully. So the combination of that makes me seem more lost than I really am. I'm just trying to, instead of having a whole bunch of front-loaded information that may or may not hit, land, or sink, or be intelligible, so that we can apply it later, we could just go one at a time.
Yep.
LDA definitely wants to be better at shooting. Would it be better to upgrade in Valor, right? Isn't that the one for strength versus wisdom? Or would it be better to add points in her shooting things?
So that's sort of where you're splitting up. So you have 2 pools of points, right? You have your skill points and your ability points, right? You have 9 of each.
9 of each. Not,
Yes.
Okay, so we have 18 points altogether.
18 points altogether. 9 can be used for one set of things. 9 can be used for another set of things.
Perfect.
And there's no overlap.
That's what you guys saw that I was lost with my question.
Yep.
Wonderful. Now I'm a little bit more able to understand why we're like. Okay.
Yeah. So
we can go back up to skill points and
thank you
let
for
everybody
letting me go
spend
down
their
the hall.
skill points
yeah,
now.
that's probably better, so that everyone is on the same page.
Let's
and
do
we'll
skill
go
points
into
and
it.
then we'll do adventure points. So feel free to convene against each other or with each other, and I'll be back in 2 and 2 and figure out what you guys spent your points on.
Sounds good. I if anyone has questions or need help, I already did mine. So
Nice.
So I have 9 skill points.
correct.
Which I'm gonna spend. So I have nothing in riddle. I'm gonna spend 4 of them to get 1 pip in riddle. And then I also am horrible at singing. So I'm gonna spend 4 more points for 1 pip in singing.
Yeah, but you have 2 other people that have pips in singing. So do we?
Well, I don't.
And I'm not
I don't.
favored.
I don't.
So
You-
No,
you're
not
not-
in character. I don't.
In character, you've seen her sing, or when we were trying to sing in the barn.
What do you want to do with yours?
I'm just saying, do we all need pips in singing?
Oh, that's a good question too.
So that's kind of a metagaming question. It's do you how do the characters dynamics
Exactly.
work? Does
Well,
each one tunnel vision and only focus on one thing, or does spending time together sort of cause everyone to sort of all skills rise up?
Exactly.
So from
Yeah.
our past game,
No,
What?
and I'm all for character knowledge, right?
Yep.
So, Kieran saw that she tried to sing. We were trying to lure the bats out of the barn, and then I sung, and we were able to lure the bat. I helped you sing, and we were able to lure the bats out of the barn. So, in character, you've seen both of us sing.
character, I would love to hear more about how that's I personally am over it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. barbarian. I didn't know that you had an interest in
I think in character, I noticed that I am not a great singer, nor maybe have much skill in being able to sing, but I do know that there are songs in my people that is something, I guess, a bit of as a scholar, a bit of like a heritage that I would like to get into, or at least be able to do. So, and because it is, songs are our way of carrying ancient information, and so that's something that I think Kyrian maybe wants to be better at. And I think in riddle is the same thing. Rhymes and riddles are also a kind of a historical takeaway that, as a ranger, maybe as a scholar, something that I'm seeking to improve. Because, I am a scholar. I'm not saying I'm a very good scholar, but I am a scholar, or at least seeking to be a better scholar.
War guide, we decided to upgrade ourselves in character. Is that still kosher?
That is the best.
Okay, good.
That is better than good.
It should be, because you want the skills that you, at least for me personally, you want the skills that you pick to be based on the character that you're playing, and not say, oh, I want to have 4 points in everything, because that's not a realistic character. That's how I go for it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be like so powerful as a group mathematically that then when we play our characters, we're not really playing because we're not striving. Like, it takes the motivation behind the character away.
Like, in building my character, I think I have a lot of good pips in strength, in kind of strength skills. And so in my character's background is that he was kind of trained and built by this kind of harsh landscape and tough times, but maybe like that was never really my interest. Like, my secret interest was kind of more in kind of but I never really had time to, or the moment to build into that until later in life. So that's why my skill sets and those kind of things are lessened, but maybe it's like, I'm trying to get better, or I've really wanted to get into this that I really secretly have loved, but have never trained into it. So that's what. So now I have 1 point in skills left over because I spent 8.
That was excellent, by the way. That was a really cool, applicable thing. Thank you. Why don't you go first, Dick, since I'm still learning?
I have. So, what is the extra D10 called? Not prestige, not. You're making a roll favorite. Can you upgrade to a skill to be favored?
There are virtues. There are virtues that you can get that allow you. So there's one called Mastery, which is the starting virtue that I took, which lets you pick favored on 2 additional skills. But that would be sort of in the next step of what are you doing with your adventure points. You can raise your wisdom and then take an additional fate virtue, which can be that mastery virtue, which will give you favored on 2 skills of your choice.
Okay, gotcha.
So for skills, it's just that single row of the skill column.
Okay.
So basically, with 8 adventure points, the maximum you can do is either take a skill where you have 1 pip, take it to 2, or take 2 skills that have 0 and take both of them to 1. That's the most you can do with only 9 skill points. So in my case, I upgraded my insight from 1 to 2. That's what I did with 8, and I have 1 left over.
Yeah, and I think this was mentioned too, that you can save your points.
Yeah. You don't
but
have to
also
spend
you're kind of limited on leveling up just a little bit each time, so it's your own journey.
All right, so I'm going to. Upgrade I'm going to upgrade a pip in scan. So I'm going to be using 8 points. And then I'm saving my last one.
Yep.
Right, so Aldia is next.
I think Albier would like to be a little bit better at the shooting, so I'm going to definitely use 4 points to put 1 in hunting. And then I noticed that, internally I know that I have a really good affinity to exploring, yet I'm still, new. I went as far as my road from Lothlorien went, and now I'm in new territory, so I might as well put another point in explore.
So that brings both of them to 1.
And then I think that is now good for the adventure.
Skill
points or adventure?
Skill points.
Those are skill points.
Yep.
Perfect. Look at that pink marker, guys. Now I have to go find the pink marker later. So green. Okay.
So I think we're done.
That's just 1.
All right, so we'll move on down to Valor and Wisdom
And
in
combat.
combat proficiency.
Yep.
So this
Thrar, where did you upgrade your skills?
I took an extra. I raised my wisdom to 2, and I took an extra virtue. And one thing to note: so combat proficiencies are like skills. So you spend however many points of adventure points you can to raise from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, etc., 0 to 1, etc. And the same goes for raising the valor or the wisdom. It's the number of points. If you raise your valor, you get a reward which you can apply to a piece of armor or other gear. Those are fixed for everybody. Virtues, when you gain a virtue, there are the common virtues that everyone can take, and then there are the special virtues for each culture. So different, depending on what culture you belong to, you can take different. There are more options available for you. So I took one of the dwarf virtues myself.
These are right.
Yeah.
Wisdom and valor are the headers to what you were saying.
Yep.
Equipment or
Yes,
or
correct.
rewards.
Wits, wisdom. Yeah.
Yep.
Which
So
are
when you're
hard
looking
versus-
at the way I look at it
versus-
too, if you're trying to translate the classic
Or stuff.
D&D, is your wits is going to be a little bit more towards your magic, and your virtue is going to be a little bit more towards your soldier paladin. Would you say that's a decent translation, albeit clumsy?
Kind of. So like your valor is like you were saying, it's like your combat, how brave you are in combat. And so the rewards you get for that are combat focused. They're sort of bonuses that you get to your weapons or your armor. Virtues are more your mind. Wisdom obviously is your mind. And so the virtues you get are more like abilities or skills that
Said
are
that
not.
very well. The virtues. I just didn't catch where virtues came from jumping from wisdom.
So they
was
get
the
from
only-
wisdom. It's a
That
little
was the
bit
only thing I
weird.
was like, wait, virtues? Where did
Yeah.
they come from?
The naming is a little
I get it.
strange. Like, why does your valor immediately result in a reward? Why does your wisdom lead to a virtue? The naming is a little bit odd, but essentially that's
In a
what it is.
lesson, it's kind of like how awe works.
Yep.
Right? But it has a better name.
Yes, exactly.
So let's go one more time with Thrar. How did you level up? What did you...
So
Your skills.
I spent 8 of my abilities of my adventure points to raise my wisdom from 1 to 2. And by doing that, I gain 1 additional virtue. I was able to pick either from the common virtues or from the dwarves of Durin specific one. I went with that and I took a dark for dark business.
When you are in the dark at night or underground, you are inspired on all your rolls. And inspired is interesting. Is that a
I think it's an extra, what is this? I can spend a hope and gain 2 extra success dice.
Oh, right. Yeah, so when you spend a hope, you get 2 dice.
Instead of 1.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
so essentially, if you have 4 pips in a skill, and you can burn 1 hope, add 2 more, and you have 6.
So what we can do here is I don't want anybody to feel rushed that they have to pick something. But if you want to, we can take a little time and we can go one person at a time. Is anybody feeling kind of ready to walk through? Or if you just like, hey, let's meet after and go through it, we can do that too.
I'm going to do it after.
Okay.
Because I need to read them all first.
Yeah. They're also on the Discord too. I put all these out there for everybody.
I made my decision, so I can let you guys know on that one. It's 8 points to increase in one of either wisdom or valor, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, so I chose to spend 8 points to increase my wisdom to 2. And I am picking a cultural virtue. Foresight of the Kindred.
During an adventuring phase, you may invoke your gift of foresight a number of times equal to your wisdom rating to bestow it upon yourself or another member of the company. This gift can be spent at any moment to re-roll all the dice involved in any one roll, whether made by the player hero or adversary targeting them. Nobody over here on some certain cards that I have like that.
Very nice.
All of the shadows like so that's just a full reroll. Am I getting that?
There's a reason why Sauron hated the Dunedain and the Númenóreans before them.
I think I did feel a grumble, like a kind of a little mini earthquake come over from the DM cave.
As I was reading it, I'm on your guys' side, but then there's another part of me that isn't.
Yeah, you gotta split yourself. You're on both sides.
Like, don't like that.
But as far as Paladin goes, like you were saying, if you wanted to gain proficiency, favored. If you want more skills to be favored.
So you're having the same problem I am. Too many games.
Yep. If you want more skills to be favored, then I don't know about if hobbits have any cultural specific virtues, but you could take the mastery virtue, which will let you pick 2 additional skills that are favored.
Yeah, they have that, and they have.
That's what I'm thinking about, but I want to read them all first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, not pushing, just saying that's the one I know of that lets you pick additional favored skills.
Yeah, and that's something I'm probably going to take, but...
Yeah, they also have Sure at the Mark, which all ranged attacks are favored, which typically, because you guys are so good at throwing stones.
Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking about, too.
Anyways, you mentioned looking at these later, so I'll make sure that, you have time.
Yeah.
We were talking about the need for sleep or not last game, and...
Oh, you just read a virtue.
Yeah.
So we've got, and then Aldia, did you want to look at yours?
She needs sleep. She's only 750 years old. So.
She's a youngin'.
Yeah.
Aldia, would you like to pick your skill now or have time to kind of shop?
And we're almost there.
Okay.
I'm literally so whoever wants to.
We're all done. It's up to you.
Just me?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Can I?
Well, the Paladin is waiting until after the game to pick.
I know, but I'm just too impulsive. I'll see what happens. So we're gonna see what happens. I just need to understand. Sorry. So what I'm reading versus what I'm deciding together, I can include people on my thought process. Is I just learned about I was thinking on our walk about my older elf friends and how they don't need the need for rest. I wonder if I can someday grow into that. And then Cool. So, also, I was thinking about an uncle who has a rage problem against Shadow. A wrath problem.
Small rage problem.
Yeah, Elvish Dreams would have really helped you guys in the Tower of the Last Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Or not, because you guys didn't get any shadow because you fell asleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
No, you don't fall asleep. You could have taken watch.
Take a watch.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
You don't need
you
to
fell
sleep.
asleep.
I fell asleep.
Yep.
Like I said, not a great scholar.
No, too good of a scholar.
Too good.
Not a good ranger.
Fair. Fair enough.
I think the next time you guys show up, I'll
And
have
you
these
also
printed out
just
for you.
got so focused on, hey, I found these symbols over here. You're right there and focusing on it. And then, meanwhile, Thrar's just holding his axe or barring the gate. And you're over here focusing on, oh, this is cool. This is cool research.
Yeah,
This-
look at this. Completely oblivious of the danger at hand of two trolls coming after us.
Hey, I was interested in symbols too. So. Then Thrall's over shaking his head like, really?
Leave the short guy to hold the door. To be fair, my ancestors can resist dragon fire, so okay.
You just look so comfortable in the hole.
Exactly.
I think this makes sense the most to the character against the unseen. All your shadow tests due to the dread are favored, and you additionally gain 1 die on those rolls forced upon you by an evil spirit or ghost, including creatures possessed by one, which it was because she's met a shadow creature now. It's like kind of like it actually happened in the tower, and I'm like, look like crap that next day. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, wow, I've actually seen a shadow thing. That's awesome. So elves can perceive creatures that dwell in the wraith world. They spirits or ghosts, even when they are normally invisible to eyes of the living, appearing only chilling, whispery voices, and you have learned the strengthen your heart against such terrors. Which we said there was this dead guy underneath. Like, she was shuffling her feet in the story, and she was like really perturbed for all of this something, and maybe I'd never been in the place where there was so much death from my innocence of life. So kind of makes sense that now I'm prepared in a different way. Like sensing that crazy wizard.
Yeah.
And that touching the letter.
Touching the leather also.
Yeah.
Maybe being underground sort of maybe brought that out of you.
Right? Isn't that realistic to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I think that's it. I'm gonna go do that now. But I kind of understand dread.
It's a shadow test. It's like, so if I say, hey, like when the creature came out, there was a lot of dread, or when the troll showed up, I could have you roll for dread, right? These are things that are like, whoa, this is not good.
It's like a looming danger.
Yeah.
Where did you guys end up writing your extra new thing?
I put it
in the virtues box.
Yeah, in this box.
Okay, great.
You should have 2 things in there now, because you always get a starting reward and a starting virtue.
Yeah, so in your level 2, if you've leveled up your virtue or your wisdom, you'll change that from a 1 to a 2.
Adventure points go down to 1.
Yep.
Because this costs 8.
Correct.
To level wisdom up to 2.
Yep.
And now I have against the unseen.
Okay. Awesome. So we're almost done with fellowship phase, and they'll go faster, and I'll make sure to print these out for you guys so the next time you show up you can kind of have them. For undertakings, you can gather rumors.
This. Look at your hobbit. It's actually on the same page, just after my
What's after your phone plus 2?
Oh, sorry, 1 plus 1 D dice. The helm plus 2 protection.
Oh, protection.
It's plus 2 protection. You get it. Plus 1 dice to dread. It's your favorite.
Did you already have a virtue? Tip?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if LDA might be missing her starting virtue.
Yes, I think. Well, I get 1 valor and 1 vision. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, you should have 1 reward. Before coming into this, you should have had 1 reward for one of your equipment and 1 of the basic, not the cultural virtues, 1 of the basic virtues.
I think you're missing a
So
basic
I only
virtue,
got 1. Okay. So,
which is the blue one. But
boring. I already had that one that I just said. No, what do I want to
which
do?
one? No, you don't. You didn't. The one
You
just
can't
said.
have that one because that's a cultural virtue. You have to pick one of
That's
the
new.
basic virtues as a starting
Basic
virtue.
virtues are going to be here.
Great, good. It's still climactic. Because that's why I was like, darn it. I have to
You
go
get,
back.
basically, think of it this way:
I
you
was
get
so
to level
excited.
up twice,
Oh,
but we all have to only get.
We
to
need
do
to
it once.
double check because you might have
Sorry.
taken mastery and just not written it down.
You can probably check by how many skills you have favored.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 favored.
I think
No,
that's
that's correct.
yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Is that for
Okay.
mastery?
No.
No.
Okay.
That
So I
should
can
be-
get 2 more favored skills if I choose.
If you
Sorry,
take
I'll-
mastery, if you take the mastery virtue, then you can get to pick 2 more to be favored.
Thanks, guys. I think this is good.
Yeah, I think I took mastery and I have 5 favorite skills.
Yeah,
Oh.
same. I also took mastery and I have 5.
Well, I
so
don't
you,
find favoring.
That's weird that you have 4. So you probably just need 1 more.
yeah, you probably
We're
just
so excited to play this game, guys, and he's writing up all these different things, and I am not studying this on my spare time until
I think you can do 1 more
Oh.
favored and just write mastery down because I
Thank
think you went
goodness
with
for
mastery and only did half.
Yep. So, like, if you were saying, you wanted to be better at hunting, you can take favored for hunting, and that lets you roll
my
2
parry,
dice.
though, that could be good too, guys. Sorry, so I could pick 2 skills to fit. Sorry, I don't understand all of them.
So what happened was you picked
choose 2 skills and make them favored under mastery.
you picked mastery, but you didn't spend both of your skills. You only spent 1.
Yeah, because by default,
Did
you
I
should only
pick
have
mastery?
3
Mm.
You have it written down that I picked mastery.
Well, everybody would normally start with
With 3.
3, and people who pick mastery now have 5 favored. You have 4 favored,
Wait,
which you should only have 3.
slow down. I haven't committed
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't do it. Is that? Are you trying to tell me we did do it and that's
You
not?
did it, and and you didn't write it down when you created your character. That's what it looks like.
I don't even remember this thing. So this is. So I'm being told that I did that, and I'm like, okay, I guess so. Or
So
should I?
the logic, our logic here is, when you create a new character, you should only have 3 skills that are favored. Both Edwin and I took the
It's
mastery
weird
virtue.
because I have 4 and I should only have 3, and I only have 1, so I didn't favor something.
Exactly. So
Gotcha. So all I need to do is put 1 favored somewhere,
Exactly.
and then
We've
we're
deduced.
set, and we
Yes.
can move on.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like this attention anymore.
Fair enough.
This is very great. Nothing was wrong. I'm
You just need to.
overwhelmed.
All you need to do is write down mastery under your virtues and pick 1 more skill.
I was excited about the other thing, and now I'm excited about the new thing, and then I'm like, what's the next thing? And that's why I need to just...
Yep.
So you can write mastery on your list.
Thank you.
And then you're just missing 1 bedazzle.
Yeah. Dazzle.
Okay.
I put like little stones on my thing.
Okay, so for undertakings, we'll go through each of these. This will actually go a lot quicker. We've got, and by the way, congratulations on the leveling up, and it will go quicker.
Oh boy.
There's gathering rumors that can be done as an undertaking. There is healing scars that can be done during Yule. Meeting a patron is currently locked. You guys are kind of getting soft, watered down patrons. And you'll see why in a second. Anyways, they're just locked right now.
That's why we got Bobo, right?
Bobo, yep.
Bobo, the
what a
assistant
lovely guy.
Yeah.
Great.
And now I'm
You can ponder stories in figured maps. These things will have benefits. You can raise an heir, which is in Yule.
snacks he gave us.
Mm-hmm. You can recount a story, which is Yule, strengthen the fellowship, which is your fellowship score, and you can study magical items or write a song. And then there's tons more of homebrew that we'll look at later. But for now, there are free ones if you have somebody in a party, because right now you guys are in a fellowship phase, which means everybody has to decide one of these things that you want to do. However, there are some free ones if you have particular people in the party. So, gathering rumors, is there a warden in the party? Is anybody a warden?
Oh.
We have treasure hunters and scholars, right? So this is one that the party would have to say, hey, together, let's actually gather a rumor. But what that does is you gain a rumor from me about, something of consequence that may be kind of on a minor B plot rail or on an A plot rail. Who knows? But it's a rumor, right? Something of kind of consequence. You can ponder story and figures of maps. We have scholars all over the place in the party, so you guys get to do this for free.
Yeah.
we should be able to get two of them.
Only one.
But there's two scholars, Mr. Lore Master.
Diversify.
I mean, by that logic, it means we could do 3 undertakings, right? One for the whole party, and then one free ponder for each
Exactly. There we go.
You get to do free ones, but then if you don't have a free, that's why you want to diversify up, because then you get more free things that you can do.
Well, the way I understood it is you get one for the whole party and one free, not one free per class. So even if we had one of every type of calling, we would only be able to do 2 undertakings at most. One for the whole party and one of the free ones based on the makeup of the company.
Well, yeah, and the 2, we could resolve the free one right now, because we have a ponder, stories, figures, and maps that you can do, or you can study magical items.
Do we have?
Which-
I don't think we picked up any magical items yet, did we? Because we
Just
gave the
one.
books. We gave the books.
We gave the books to the what's his
Okay.
face?
The only person that
Others,
has a magical item is Aldier, and that's you guys role playing to figure out if you want to do that with her. I can't say anything.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah. I think only 2 people know about this magical item.
Yep.
Thrar doesn't know about it, so.
Yeah.
I could share a
Just
little.
feel little creepers when you're around me.
And I think my character doesn't even know it's a magical item.
Yep. I don't think she didn't say anything about it. We
Yeah.
felt the effects, but I don't think any of us pinpointed. Oh, that's why.
Yeah. I think I just let you have a scroll.
Yeah. So it's
I asked you, all of you guys, I was like, you want to check if this book's magical? 5 times before I got this thing.
So if there's a
There's no detect magic in this game.
to get an idea here too is if you're pondering stories and figured maps, you get +1 to your feat die for events in the journey phase, and what that means is that when you have a journey phase, there's an encounter table, and the higher the number, the nicer the encounter. The lower the number, the worse the encounter and potential fatigue. And because we are kind of doing that and kind of not doing that and really stopping and smelling the roses, this will essentially soften things up a little bit, or not soften things, just keep it normal if you do this. And again, we will do journey phases, but that's like if I was to say you guys are going to get lost, and in my dumb brain I'm saying, okay, they need to do 3 explore rolls in my notes to get unlost. It would be now 2 to make it easier, because you pondered maps.
Yep.
But in a journey phase, it's just a table. So those are your 2 free ones. Any of those sticking out? Oh, and then I don't think there's a champion in the party, so we will.
No, not currently. No.
No, it's just this.
We're very narrow diversification of callings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, 2 scholars. I'm a messenger.
Oh, you're a messenger.
I'm a messenger.
What does the messenger get?
There was none. There was no messenger options. At least in your list there.
Oh, right. They're up here and they're locked right now. I think that's with the patron, so apologies. We'll find out why in a second.
I have.
Patron is free for messenger.
Calling to the side. Am I supposed to just?
Yeah. So
As a group, you're all deciding between 2 free things. One of the 2 free things you can do.
We need to pick two of these different undertakings. We can pick one of them. It can be any of them, other than the ones that are arbitrarily locked by our overlord. And
Not arbitrarily, how dare you?
and the other one is based on what callings the party has. And we decide as a group that we pick one of the ones that we have that we can pick based on the party makeup.
Naturally meta game too, but make it look nicer. So I'm like trying to figure out how to answer this correctly. Like it's so
like my vote is to gather rumors.
I agree. I personally I vote gather rumors and ponder stories.
That could be our second one.
Sorry, did you guys hear? I didn't hear you. One more time.
No, I vote. I think we should just put it to a vote. I vote gather rumors and ponder figures, stories and maps. That's what I am leaning towards as far as what I think would benefit us most.
Nice.
But
Okay,
that's my vote. So I want to hear what
there's a
everyone
vote.
else.
And then rumors is another vote. And what's your vote?
I guess I'll do that one too. I'll follow the group on this one.
You did not follow the group in that way.
Because the raising the fellowship. What does the fellowship rating do?
What that does is the number of people in the party is your fellowship rating. And that is, I'm going off the top of my head, Thrar's already got it, but it's your hope that you can distribute amongst the party before you head out. And so you can raise your score from 4 to 5.
Yeah, so if we strengthen the fellowship, we raise it to 5. And the fellowship rating, what it is,
Why don't you guys want ponder stories and figure out maps if we have 2 scholars in the party?
Why we want it?
Oh, it's free for you.
It's free. Well, for all of us. It's free for all of us because we have.
Because we have
free for all of us because we have a scholar.
We don't have a warden, and I am a treasure hunter, so I wouldn't have to re-vote for myself. I hear you.
You do have to vote because it's
genius over there.
It's not per
I agree
player.
with you. Okay, sorry, you're right.
Keep in mind these bonuses, like the +1 to the
group's right. The group's so right. They're so right.
Keep in mind that these bonuses are temporary. They're not permanent.
Yep.
So +1 to the fellowship rating is for
until the next
phase,
fellowship.
Not a continuation phase after phase after phase.
It's until the next fellowship phase.
Right.
So it's if we daisy chain, like we said earlier, journey, adventure, journey, adventure, journey, adventure, it keeps holding until the next fellowship phase.
Exactly.
Unanimous rumor. I'm hearing something and I finally understand and I think it's true, this rumor. It's so intriguing.
And the fellowship score is basically like bonus hope that is shared for the whole party. So during an adventure phase, you can spend 1 point of fellowship to give one member an extra hope.
And we won't have a captain next time either, so we'll go back and forth between both of them to see which one fits our travel style.
Yep, based on what we think might happen next. So we don't have to gather rumors every time. We don't.
So we're going to find out if we're amazing at this or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Together. Okay.
We decided.
So the decision is?
The top one.
Gather rumors
Gather
and
rumors.
ponder stories.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you're been in Bree for a week and a half about, and tell me how you pondered stories and maps. What were you doing around in Bree to do this?
I mean, Thrar carries a bunch of maps with him, so he's probably just been holed up in a booth at the Prancing Pony, just going over his old maps, because he gets a sense that he's going to be going places with this group that are not the same relatively small area that he's spent the last 100 and something years. So he's refreshing his memory of the wider region of Eriador.
Kyrian is as people go in and out of this inn, any rangers or travelers or tradesmen kind of makes just small talk and ask about their comings and goings, and if they happen to have a map on them, if they would be willing to share such a map. And so I'm just kind of collecting bits and pieces to memory, because people probably don't have copies of these maps. They probably just have a map or making notes.
Nice.
Our Paladin is going to start at the hub portion of the Prancing Pony with a meal and a beer, and start talking with people, trying to hear about local legends of lore and history, and then ask them if there's, once those are all gathered, after a couple beers, ask about if there's other historians that he could talk with about local history and legends.
Okay, and Aldia?
I got inspired by how lack of enheartening she is.
And I figure this is between 11s and lunch.
I think she's just
So
trying, if she would see this whole situation, she would love to extract some information, but she just has a backpack and she's knife ears, so no one's really participating with her. And she's also I've never talked to anybody. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer this question appropriately.
That's fine. That's actually appropriate. So one person is probably enough. I just want to hear what everybody's doing. So Thrar, you and Kyrian probably compare a couple of notes, look at a couple of things.
Exactly.
And one of the things that you notice is that even though you both have...
Make a good ranger.
Sorry, I'll wait. Okay, so even though you both are looking at similar locations, you're noticing the maps aren't exact, but they're kind of close. So you can see that might be a little bit of a challenge, that these are not extremely well documented last week, that maybe the trails and tracks and roads, while in a vicinity, may have changed due to your notes and maps being a little bit different, although close. Paladin, one of the things that stand out to you is from the stories and the histories is warnings of the greenway and the old road and in the south where the Barrow Downs are. And that, people foolishly go there to treasure hunt and never come back.
The Greenway and where?
It's the old road known as the Greenway, which runs north to south. It actually goes from Fornos down all the way to Tharabat and then continues south through Orthanc, Rohan, and into Gondor, I believe. So then you guys are doing rumors. So Aldier, there is a very happy gentleman that is in the Prancing Pony while everybody's poring over maps. And he comes up to you and he's like, "You're an elf. You're an elf kind. I know most of us don't, most race of, I have to tell you, I don't know what it was that happened, but I used to have an extremely bad limp. And I heard of this healer that was in Landier, and I went in a wagon, and this was all last year, and it was I'll be honest, it was a little bit creepy, but look at me, I don't have a limp anymore." I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you. What did you say?
I am so happy for you.
Well, I don't know if it was elvish, what I saw was elvish or not.
Okay. Where, I need more information than you're providing me, but I'm so glad for your leg. That's well. That's very good for you.
Okay. I didn't know if it was an elvish thing, so I just wanted to ask from some of the things that I saw.
What did you see?
Oh, it was amazing. So I went, and in Landiera I had to find some contacts because I'd heard about this and most people didn't want to talk to me down there and they didn't really know. And eventually I found a scout that was able to take me to this healer, and there was, I don't know if it was a tribe or what, but they had this almost, it was a little, I don't know what I saw. It was not really human, but it looked like maybe a king at one time, and it was in a throne. And when I went near it, I no longer had the limp. It was very odd. So that's not elvish?
Do they have pointy ears?
It was hard to tell. I don't want to say dead, but not living. It was very decayed looking, what I approached.
Not killed by something evil?
I'm asking you.
Are you feeling good or are you feeling bad?
I feel great. I feel amazing. I feel joyful. I just wanted to come to you and...
I come from Lothlorien, I can tell you about that, and I'm extremely happy to be in your town. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was very difficult for me too. The people there were a lot like the gentleman at the bar and some of the other people I've seen, the shorter hobbits, I believe. They were like that, but they spoke very queerly. Almost nothing like I'd ever heard before, a weird kind of a speech. But I don't know. I was able to get out safely and it was wonderful. So sorry to bother you.
You're not bothering me. I don't know if death is the... You said they were dead, though. That seems ominous.
No, it was a figure. It was a figure that was in almost like a throne, out in the wilderness.
North, south, or west of here?
Well, Landier, so south.
South.
Or in the woods, actually. It was probably east of Landier. Quite far, actually. And with that, that's your rumor.
Thank you.
So,
Goodbye. Good day, sir.
So you can also write songs if there's a champion in the party. We'll go over songs at another time just because of time is running out. We'll go over errors too because that's more of a Yule thing. As far as points are distributed in the game, we're continuing with the book. 1 hour real time equals 1 skill point, 1 adventure point. Something to keep in mind that I came across is when you reach a level 5 in a combat proficiency, a wisdom, or a valor, it is highly recommended to begin your retirement plan. This is the book saying, hey, people like Bilbo and different people, these heroes, they'll have some major thing that they do, which when you're at that level, you're going to do something major. And then they kind of diminish into the west. So we can talk more about this at another time because we've spent a lot of time going over fellowship phase. But for right now, we're just keeping the skill point distribution exactly the same unless the party comes together to let me know they have other desires, pacing.
Sounds good to me. Considering how many points you need at higher levels, I don't think, we had the discussion, and I don't think I think the book is the book ruling of 3, on average, 3 points of each per session, I think is fine.
Yeah, and our fellowship phase counts as part of that too.
I'm very excited.
Okay, so we are 1 minute away from actually getting into it. What was that noise? Oh, we have.
There's some dogs.
So, as a reminder, when we started this,
Your table at the bar. It was.
as we started this, I'd mentioned it's going to take about 5 or 6 sessions to sort of get our sea legs and to kind of get into the world and get the rules down like we're learning fellowship phase right now. So we are in session 3, I believe, or 4 of 5 to 6 when we'll call the Prelude is over, which is why the patrons are locked right now, because we don't want to get into any kind of major rail system without feeling a little bit more fluid with all the rules and everything. Also, at this point, when the Prelude is done, which will probably depend on how far we get in the next session or 2, everybody will be able to transfer all their skill points and adventure points to a new character. So you don't have to re-roll from scratch. You can be like, hey, I learned some lessons. And I don't want to start completely over. I want to try a new character, and I want to take, which would be, roughly 18-ish points or whatever at that point. Well, it depends on if it's 5 or 6 sessions. And I just want to start a new character at that level. That's perfectly fine. You can also just say, hey, I want to rebuild the current character I have. You can totally do that as well. After this kind of event does come up occasionally in the game. Death, obviously, but then there are certain points, because the game doesn't really allow for just like, I want to re-roll a new character. These are actual moments and events that occur sort of rarely here and there, and they should be tied to your party or your character in some way that you've been playing. So this is one of those unique moments where it doesn't have to be tied to anything. I mean, it helps, but it gives you that fresh start if you want it in another session or 2. Canon characters won't be available. However, the Circle of Noms, I think, unless anybody is violently opposed to it, Circle of Noms has a lot of homebrew races I'm open to even figuring out other ones that aren't in Circle of Noms, as long as they're within the Middle-earth world.
Yeah, it's a great resource, the Noms homebrew.
All right. Any questions before we leave the fellowship way? Should we take a quick 5-minute break? How's everybody doing? Quick break?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a quick break, and we'll be right back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, so your fellowship phase is over. You're in Bree land, 2957 of the Third Age, 12th day of February. And just to kind of give you some maps of Bree that maybe you've been looking at.
Pull up the light.
You can see here is Fornost up here, which you found on some of your maps. And you were just over in these hills over here. You can see this is Bree. If we go a little bit closer, I'll move this off to the side. And actually do this. Here's another fun map of Bree that you were going through as you're looking at your different maps. And you can see this road right here is the road that heads out to the Shire. The east road actually goes into Bree through the west gate and goes out the east gate here back onto the Great East Road and heads over towards Rivendell. And here you have the town of Staddle. You have the little town of Combe, and then you have Archet up here in the Chetwood area. And then finally, if we open up this one, you have another map of Bree that's a little bit more granular, but this one's from 1700. And so some of these things like the King's Rest Inn are no longer around. This was turned into a farmer's market. And here you can see the East Road coming in as well and heading out this way. And they don't have Combe and Archet in here. So to kind of give you a little bit of grounding on the maps are all a little bit different. Things change over hundreds and hundreds of years, but the location is generally kind of in the same place. So with that, having been in Breeland, because there's Breeland, it makes up more than just Staddle, Combe, and Archet and Chetwood. It's kind of a larger area. But in Breeland, you have Bree Town, and here is your party. And you've been hanging out for about a week, and some of the things that you have noticed is it is winter. It's very cold, so not a lot of traffic or things are happening at this point. But there's the gatekeeper lodge over here. There is a west gate. There's stables at both gates, as you would expect. There's a tea and produce run by a little old hobbit lady. There's a town hall that really isn't that open. There's the Biscuit and Barrel, which is next to a quarry. These are some things that you found out hanging out there for a week. There was a quarry a long time ago, and it really didn't work out. They thought it was going to be kind of the center of town. It sort of defunct, and it turned into hobbit holes. So some hobbits live in the quarry, the old quarry area, and they have a little food place there. And then here, Eldrin is taking place in the Bell Hearth. So the Bell Hearth was next to the quarry, and that was going to be the big food area where a lot of the quarry workers were eating at, and it was a bakery and a food spot. That when the quarry went defunct, it kind of was abandoned. And in Old Town, you see a lot of abandoned and repurposed buildings. And so this building was taken over by Hobson, who wanted to, which you've gathered some of this information. He wanted to be a schoolmaster, but he's down from kind of Tharabad, but had the Gondor desire of education. Coming up to Bree, he found that people wanted more trade than schooling, and so he does a lot of cobbling, and he ends up doing a lot of sometimes he does the books and settles financial disputes because he's the one that knows numbers, and occasionally he will find children that he can teach, or even an elderly person that likes to learn, and he will use some of the old baking pans as his chalkboards to kind of chalk on to teach them things. Eldrin has taken up residence here in the old Bell Hearth Bell room and tower, and he hangs out there with Hobson, the schoolmaster, which is what he is called, even though he doesn't have a school.
And where was Hobson?
Hobson is here with Eldrin.
Okay. And what was that place called?
The Bell Hearth.
Is it like a sort of inn, or
No, it's nothing anymore. It used to be, like, a long time ago, it was gonna be kind of the go-to, and it was the go-to spot for some of the workers in the quarry, which was not very long lasted. And as soon as the quarry went defunct, the Bell Hearth kind of had a couple of faces and then just became abandoned. He came up after the flood in Tharabad and with his family, and he was younger at that point, but ended up wanting this as a schoolhouse, but it didn't really work out the way he wanted, so he just works out of there, kind of doing odds and ends.
It's more of like a residence. It's nothing there people go to. Okay.
People do come in and out.
Shop, yeah.
He lives in where he works, and as we would think,
it's a building with a history, and so everyone calls it by that name, basically.
Okay.
yeah. They call it the Bell Hearth because that's what it was back in the day, and he just kind of left it that way because he saw the bell, he saw a school, he thought this is going to be my schoolhouse, and that never flew. So as he began learning his skill at cobbling and doing cobbler work with shoes, he was able to do that and, make some money. And then he also makes money balancing ledgers and helping people with financial disputes because he's known in town as the numbers guy that knows numbers, not necessarily the teacher, even though they call him the schoolmaster. So, schoolmaster, numbers guy, not really valued unless you need your shoes done or if you're debating about weights of grain and how much you were paid. And Eldrin has taken up residence with him because of his love of history and also being a little bit of a oddity with enjoying history and learning. And Hobson and Eldrin get along very well. So this is what you have come to know. You are free to walk around a little bit. You've woken up in the Prancing Pony. And Eldrin, you having been there for a little bit, he wants to meet with you at lunch just to kind of go over what he has learned. So, what would you all like to do?
What time of day is it?
It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. You guys have had your breakfast, and you have a little free time.
Okay. So, it is about 4 miles to Archet taking the road, so it is not enough time for Thrar to visit Archet and come back. So he will not leave Bree today.
Woke up still wondering about this cloaked figure. The
Stranger in the bar?
no, not
Or
that.
the...
There was someone a pilgrim. Pilgrim on
the White
road?
Pilgrim?
Yeah. I want to know who that is. But it's not in town, so we have these options in town.
I'd like to go to the job board and see if there's anything new posted.
Nothing new is posted on the job board. You notice it is a little dusty.
In the room, interested in that figure?
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe after being there for a bit, look to get some fresh air. And figure that markets are as good place as any to see kind of the hustle and bustle and fresh air, and maybe. I guess this is we're still in kind of the winter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but maybe kind of explore and see what's going on at the market.
So you have 2 markets right now. You have a farmer's market that's kind of not in use because of wintertime, and then you have the tea and produce market that is open.
I would also like to go see if I can find Effie to talk about her lost journal.
All right. So you want to see if you can find Effie. And then
Thrar is probably just going to stay at the Prancing Pony until it's time to go to the Bell Hearth.
Paladin, did your sister Esmeralda leave?
I remember, but did I meet her in Bree? Or I didn't meet her in Bree. I met her in...
Last night.
No, you met... Esmeralda stayed in the Shire. You met her at the Stone's Throw Inn.
Yes.
Are we not at the Stone's Throw?
No,
we're at the Prancing Pony.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I needed sleep so bad I forgot that we even traveled that day. Well, I think we missed our chance to go see that person then. So, I'll go to... There's a horse place around here, like, and I'll go to the stables.
Would you like to go to the West Gate or the East Gate stables?
The West Gate.
So since Kyrian started by saying you wanted to go to market, did you want to go to kind of the closed one, or did you want to go to the tea and produce one?
I guess it's the tea and produce one, maybe the one that with more activity. It's not that far away. Kind of to keep in mind that we are meeting somebody at lunch, so don't wander off too far.
Okay, so you go into... I had her here just a second ago, so apologies. Where did she run off to? Too much fun stuff. So... there she is. Okay, so... you go into... you see... you've been in here a few times. And there is Esther, or here she is. Oh, I was looking for you. Here she is, it's not Esther, it's Ivy Cottlebury. So you've talked with her a few times. I've got a little image of her if you want to see Ivy. So, Ivy's not there today. You walk up these little steps and you go in and the bell rings and you see all the teas, and she's got small shelves with carrots and potatoes and those types of vegetables were the hardy ones for winter that she's been selling. And she's got a few little chairs for people to sit in a back room. And out of the back room, you see kind of a larger man come out who is very well dressed. And he's got a very trimmed and cleaned beard and mustache, and his hair is long, but it's slicked back. Hello, friend. Are you looking for Ivy?
Greetings. I was hoping I would see her here.
She's just taking a rest. I am Cormac. I help her out here sometimes. You look like a hero type. Have I seen you around with that elf and that dwarf and hobbit? What a fascinating crew.
You flatter me. I don't think that we are... I wouldn't exactly use the term hero to describe myself, but...
Someone that can be counted on, then. That's what I take you for.
Well, in that you can.
Well, that's excellent. I actually have a letter here. If you don't mind me burdening you with something so trivial as an errand, is probably far above your station.
Not at all. May I ask where this, to whom this letter is written to?
Oh, it's written to Ellis, the most beautiful head of hair you have ever seen, and it's a special note from me to them. They're in Archet, and I'd be very obliged and in your debt if you were able to take this to them.
I believe that I may find myself in Archet one of these days soon. There's no trouble to me. I don't mind. I will make sure it is delivered safely to dear Ellis.
There truly are still gentlemen and good folk in the land of Bree. No matter what anybody says, I know you exist, and so I know there's still some goodness in the world. And with that, he sips some of his tea, and he hands you a little, couple of carrots for you, and he said, I'll let Ivy know that you've come in, as I know that she enjoys her customers very much. And again, thank you so much for just being above board and such a great adventurer. We're lucky to have you here.
No trouble at all. And I'm glad that I can give a good name to the ranger folk here in Bree.
Yes, they get a very bad name, but I'll make sure. I'll personally make sure they all know that. What is your name, by the way?
Kyrian.
What a great name. Kyrian the Ranger. Everyone will know your name. Okay, so let's move over to Paladin. Which way would you have to go, left or right?
Let's see here. Where's the most dwellings, I should say, or most town center? Let's see.
There's a couple of town centers here, so I would say that when you come down the main road here, a lot of these shops are kind of sparse. You might find people up and about, but this is where you're going to find your tanners and your blacksmiths and your kind of main craftsmen, and they're going to have dwellings back behind here. On these kind of main roads going up and down, this is where you're going to have more of the local residents and some inns. A lot of the inns follow the east road, so Prancing Pony is not the only inn. Different places to stay, bed and breakfasts. And then going up to Old Town, you do have a little bit of a sketchier crowd, if you will. But not necessarily, there is some crime, but it's just more the impoverished area of town.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go up to where the shop's to the left there.
Up this way?
Yeah, up that way, and I'm going to stop by, you said that there's a tailor shop or clothing shop?
Tanner.
Crafters.
So yeah, you have a tanner, and you've got...
You mentioned a shop other than the tanner.
Blacksmith, tanners, carpenters, those types.
Is there a shop where you get cloth and clothing?
Not necessarily clothing, but there are... What you do see is, as you're walking in the snow and you're kind of moving about, you see a peddler. He's got a cart. He's got some different cloths on it and some leather straps and, a couple of buttons and belts and things. And he's got his little cart that he's next to.
Okay. I think I'm going to go talk to the peddler and see if I can gain some cloth and just supplies to make. I sew and make clothes, so trying to make a costume or supplies to make costumes in the future, disguises.
So you're looking for clothing. Well, I do have some fabrics here, and I have some leathers that you might be able to. I do have this, and he pulls out a shirt, kind of a little bit of a stitched together, kind of with leather and leather kind of through the holes, and it's a little bit of a tunic. It's a little ratty. It's not great, but for a hobbit, I think this might be a little large for you, but you might be able to repurpose it.
Oh yes, I could repurpose it just fine. I'm a pretty good tailor myself, so I can alter it to my needs.
Yes, you hobbits, you're very quick with the different crafts. I've really enjoyed some of the mead from Oak Barton.
Oh yes, very.
We get that here rarely, but when it does come, it's enjoyable.
Oh, excellent.
So as he's giving you this, you notice that he's got a box next to the cart that has a lot of rocks and stones in it.
Oh, that's an unusual box that you have there, full of. What is that for?
Oh,
It
well,
clashes with all your other wonderful wares here.
Sometimes these are good for selling. I can. People always want like a lucky charm or a lucky rock. Maybe, who knows? Or I could use these for weighting things. Sometimes I need these for getting the wheel out of the mud or keeping it from rolling down a hill when I want to station it. They're multi-purpose. Who doesn't need a rock?
Very true. They are very useful.
Yeah. So, would you be interested in purchasing one?
Sure, I'll purchase one along with the shirt.
Excellent. So great. Here's the shirt. I hope you're able to trim this to fit you. Go ahead and pick any rock that you would like. So if you could do a scan roll.
Alright. Alright. 10, 14, 19, 19. Alright, so I got 19. My target number is 16.
Excellent. So he takes note of you really eyeing each of the rocks and is fascinated by your hobbit ways. Tell us about you picking the perfect rock.
All right. Well, first of all, it's about that shape and the quality of the minerals that it has to catch your eye just right, and it has the right weight and feel to it. So I'm picking them up, and then tossing it a little bit, rolling it around. Now put that back. Oh, this is too sharp. Put that back. So. I finally find one with some almost like jasper veins in it of sort of shimmery slate type feel to it. So it has the rough striations vertically and has a nice green. It's not quartz, but it's Jaspite is like a layered green with different minerals inside, so it's quartz, and then a layer of slate or pyrite or whatever, and then quartz, and then it just sectioned out.
Nice. So as you pick that rock out, you can see his face change a little bit. He's like, I didn't even know I had that one in there. You have great eyes. I wish I would have kept that one. So what you've just found, Paladin, by the way, is a hobbit walking stone, something that brings you great cheer on travels. So you now have this item, and it gives you a +1 on a 6D during travel rolls. Simple stone that brings great cheer and hope to a hobbit. A hobbit walking stone.
So what is this? Gives me a plus what?
Gives you a +1 to one of your 6D dice on a travel roll. All right.
60.
So minor little boosts here and there is what you find in this world.
All right. I also I ask him what his name is.
His name is Purdon. He actually recognizes you from a while ago. He was in the Prancing Pony a few weeks back. I actually, now that you asked me, I don't know if I ever got your name.
Paladin took the second.
Paladin took the second. So who was the first?
I will go into the tale of my family history, and I'm going to spend no less than an hour talking with him, and then I'll wind up about telling a little bit about my party coming here, and I'm just looking for not odd jobs. I'm looking for, odd jobs to help people out, and I'm going to ask him about Ellie. And do you know where someone called Ellie is? I'm trying to help her with a problem that she had.
Ellie, I don't know an Ellie. Do you mean Effie?
Could be Effie.
Effie, she's one of the Heather Toes, and they are, I haven't seen her in a long time. She lives up in the northern fields of Bree. They have big farms up there. All right. So with that,
And then also, as I thank him and leaving, I'm going to let him know that I have lots of family and contracts in the Shire, and I'm going to see if I can get him some more of his favorite ale.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I don't can't have too much, but I can never have too much, if you know what I mean.
Oh, very much so. When you have the thirst, you have the thirst, and it needs quenching.
Absolutely. So now we will head to Thrar, who is hanging out at the Prancing Pony. So what are you up to at the Prancing Pony? There's a couple of general people sitting about that you can see. It's not busy because it is around, it's getting to be about 10 or 11 when you guys can head out.
Thrar is probably doing what he does every day, which is he comes down, has his breakfast, sits in the same chair in the same corner of the main room, and just sorts through his notes and his maps. He is a creature of habit. He has been doing more or less the same thing in the same places for 140 years now, 130 years. So he doesn't change his routine that often.
Nice. So as you're sitting there to yourself, you hear the chatter around the bar. Word is that there's going to be a snowstorm coming in tonight, probably late in the evening. But who knows, because you can't really trust any of these people who are looking at the skies and the portents of what clouds are doing. But if it is, it may be hard traveling. So, and now we have Aldier, who is heading to, I think you're heading to this gate, stables. Can't hear you.
Did I come here on an older horse, or did I walk here?
You had an old horse, and I believe Thrar had a pony, and I don't know if Paladin or Kyrian had horses. But I can tell you right now that the old horse and the pony are excited to see a familiar face, since none of them were taken on your journeys.
Okay. I didn't think I got a horse in that trapdoor. I just didn't. Pocket horse. Pocket.
That's awesome.
I mean, if we tried, the trolls would have been very happy.
They would have.
The trolls would have been very, very happy. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad. Can I give my horse an apple?
Yeah, you find a barrel of apples, and as you grab one, you see a gruff-looking, kind of athletic younger man with like a very stern look on his face. And he's like, "Are you working here? What are you doing right here? What are you doing with these horses?"
I'm so sorry to bother you. I have a horse here.
Are these your horses that have been here for almost 2 or 3 weeks? I hope you know
That's
they
my
are you
horse.
paying for this?
There was someone else that took my money when I dropped my horse off here.
Okay, so you've already settled your accounts ahead of time.
Did you fire him or them?
No, I work here. We just been wondering about these 2 horses that have been here the whole time. Usually people only leave their horses for a day or 2, maybe 4 at the most, but 3 weeks is a long time for a pony and a horse. And this thing was scrawny. I had to feed it a lot to get it back to some kind of health. What kind of horse owner are you?
I will add that the mule, not the pony, the mule is very well fed.
Okay. Well, he walks away. He's just done with the situation because it's not his money anyways. He's just upset at feeding these.
And honestly, I'm upset. I feel very, very guilty. The message has been received. Even if I did pay this invisible person, which I think LDA just lied for the first time in this game. Sympathies and prayers, my dear horse. Sympathies and prayers. I'm very sorry for my journey, and I'm whispering a little bit of elvish things that enheartened my horse, because my horse is wonderful and old and faithful and wonderful. So I gave it an apple. The man left. I hope I can... Oh, do I have any money?
Yeah, the money is not in the game, not a ledger of accounting. You have enough to settle whatever bill.
Thank you so much. Did I get to thank them? Because...
No, he left in frustration. But it is getting a little bit...
My horse huffed, because my horse knows me.
Yeah.
And was like, don't worry about it. We're good. You and I are tight, and we love each other. And I am happy. In my imagination game, we're so happy with each other. This horse and I, first horse I've ever had, cannot be mad at me this entire time.
So,
I'll say that by this point, Thrar packed up his belongings and started heading towards the Bellhearth.
so he's heading up to the Bellhearth. As you get onto this main road, let's put you at this intersection. That's fine. We'll put you there. And then, Kyrian, where are you headed right now? Because it's about 11 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, I am walking myself over. Also, I don't know.
But you're
What direction? Yeah.
Paladin, how about you?
Am I still talking with the peddler, or did the peddler leave?
You had said you talked to him for about an hour and then you were leaving, but he's still on the street.
He's on the street there, where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, hang on. Okay. I think I'll just head out. I'll keep walking north, and where the farm is the northern farm is in relation to.
So you have the heather toes, which are in the northern fields up here. They're probably about, say, maybe 10 miles, and then you have the thistledew farms, which are in the southern area.
Okay. A little too far to walk there now, so. Alright, so I'll make my. Let's see.
The Effie is the Lost Journal. Thistledew was, it's 3 farms owned by 3 brothers, because you guys have been there a week and a half, so you kind of know some things. Tolman owns the larger one of the 3 brothers, because he's the eldest. And then you have Bob and Will. And I don't recall, I'll have to look it up, but one of them is looking for farm help, and the other one is having issues with some bandits.
Yes.
At least that's what was on the bulletin board.
Yeah.
And then I think that's it for the farms.
Okay, so those are all too far to get to in a timely manner.
Definitely, yeah, I'd say the heather toes, you would get there, probably by 5, maybe 5 or 6-ish, maybe a little earlier, 4, 5, 6, depending on, you're hobbits and it's snow, so probably around evening. And then the southern ones they start on the corner, so they're not too far. But, it does take you away from the party, but it's your choice any way you want to go.
What were the name of the 3 brothers?
Tolman, Bob, and Will.
And those are the Thistledews?
Those are the Thistledews, yes. 3 brothers. The eldest owns the larger farm to the north, and then the middle child owns the farm next to the intersection here. And I believe that is Bob, and then the youngest owns the smaller farm, and his name is Will.
Alright, so I think I'm going to. Okay, so I realize what time it is. It's getting that time. So I'm going to make my way back to Eldrin.
Okay, so you're heading this way too.
Yeah.
And then Aldier?
It's a beautiful horse now, right? It's like, we're all checked in, everything's settled, and I'm gonna go on another adventure, so the payment's good here, right? Everything
Yeah,
is
you're
handled?
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're heading up here?
You read my mind.
So one of the things that all of you have kind of noticed in your wanderings is there is a ranger woman. She's got the sword and she's got the bow. She's older. She's in her mid-60s, and she's very athletic and fit for an older woman. Definitely a lot of wrinkles and age on her face. And each of you have noticed at different points her wandering around and hammering signs on different posts. And she happens to be right on this block now as you all start to convene, kind of milling about just before the bell hearth. Would you like to go into the bell hearth? Would you like to see what she's up to?
I'm gonna look over her shoulder and look at the sign she's putting up and kind of check out her weaponry and bows. And I'm looking at this weathered woman, and I'm very intrigued and happy.
You want to fangirl her?
Oh, I'm looking for her to fangirl me. No. It's so weird. No, it's a different story. Anyway, no, like...
We'll say you're all kind of pulled together and you're kind of talking a little bit about going into Eldrin's and you see her. And so, Aldier, what you notice is you see a familiar kind of rough sketched drawing, maybe charcoal, of a very grinny dwarf with braided beard and kind of patchwork clothes sort of drawn on a thing on the paper. And above she has
Jerry.
reached out. Yeah, she is. Do not.
It's Jerry.
Yeah, do
What's
not
wrong?
treat with Jerry is wanted.
Go figure. Sorry, I need to get my game language going on. Expected. That was very expected. Are you often looking for riffraff in town? Is what I want to ask the ranger.
This particular person is very foul. He had made a pact with some trolls in the Weather Hills, and he had endangered a family that had been traveling up from Tharabad and had been engaging them to and been engaging even the husband in his treachery.
That's a shame. And now is he wanted for reward then?
The reward of honor and of bringing
I
somebody
love
to
that.
bringing
I've
somebody to
only
justice.
asked for honor this whole time.
I had barely. Oh, I should be using my voice too. I had barely made it out alive. I had come across this, and I had kind of knew a little bit of maybe some activity, but I had been spying out for quite a while. And when I noticed what was happening, I befriended a little girl who was actually in one of these storehouses off of this lake that was in this small area of the weathered hills that used to be an area of the old kingdom. And the trolls had put this poor family on a raft as bait, and the deal that they had made was for this dwarf to bring more families and more food for the trolls, and then he would keep all the gold. Can you believe this?
Are we all in earshot of this, or is it
Yes.
just Aldia that worked out?
You're all kind of on the corner, and all these kind of just...
Thrar is going to spit on the ground and swear in Hosdul.
Yes. Yeah.
Petty dwarves.
If it wasn't
is a bad
for,
name to our people.
Yes, and if you bring him in, then that would be justice. And I almost didn't make it. I was 3 trolls. I barely made it out, and it was an odd event indeed with the things that had happened during that confrontation. First of all, there was some figure in the shadows that came. Like I had a plan to come in and save the family and the little girl during the sun, obviously. And as I went to do this, I was thwarted by a very dark figure. I barely made it out with the family alive if it hadn't been for another ranger that I did not expect to see from Ithilien of all places. He was lost wandering in the woods.
That one?
Yeah, Kieran kind of recalls the Ithilien ranger that we met on his way to Rivendell.
Yes.
And is kind of concerning. It's like, I hope that was not the Ithilien ranger that was on his way to Rivendell.
Well, it likely is. How many Ithiliens do you know up here? And how is he going to find Rivendell?
Let's talk. I'm kidding.
He had message that he wanted to send, so I sent him to our chieftain because you don't just walk into Rivendell. No wonder he was lost in the Weathered Hills. So lucky for me, he was lost, and lucky for him that I found him.
Very heroic.
Very lucky.
Well,
How can we assist you?
Well, if you see Jerry, the last he was seen was that I was able to track before, because I was bringing the family to Bree, and so it was hard to track him with the family. He was escaping south of the East Road around Amansul. You might know it as the Watchtower. What are all of your names, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? And are you all together? You look
This
together.
is my party. I am Aldier. This is Thrar, Kyrian, and Paladin.
Well, it's nice to meet you all. I think between the four of you, you should be able to track this. If we don't track him first, obviously.
I internally know I'm learning how to be human.
What is that's your name?
Orthiel.
Or
Orothl. Orthiel.
And should we capture or run into this scoundrel? Where might we take them to justice?
Well, you're a ranger. You could take him to the. I believe you could take him to the northern Angle outpost if he's heading south. That makes the most sense.
Northern Angle.
Or if he is not in there, and you, depending on where you are, you could always bring him back to Bree. There's usually one of us around that can transport him. By the way, you look like a ranger to me, am I correct?
Oh, that is correct.
So what area are you from?
I honestly forgot.
Lampwater.
I need to write this down.
we haven't had one of these days yet. What are we doing? Where are we at now?
Okay, so she thanks you and she heads on her way as she's hanging a couple more signs up. And now you're standing outside of Eldrin's. I'm assuming everybody wants to go in.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But I don't want any lamp water. What? No, just kidding.
So you walk in and you see he's actually off to the side of the main door because the bell is off to the side of the main doors. It's a kind of a box with almost looks like a church, but it's a bakery. So he's off to the side. As you walk into the front, Hobson is not there at this point. You can see the cobble. It's a mess. You can see kind of a cobble station where he might be working. You can see a bed off to the corner. You can see chalk and different pans that he's written on. You can see actually a cat walking around. You see very high ceilings as it was a bakery. You can see tables where people may have eaten that he has turned into work tables, although not very organized. A little mixture of cobble material and a little mixture of scribblings and papers with financial numbers. In the back, because you are familiar with what Eldrin is, you see a door that goes into a small area with a cook stove, and then behind that you walk in and are able to see Eldrin's area where
kitties.
yes, he has cats everywhere. He collects all kinds of stray cats and names them things like Trinket and biscuits, and has all names for all of them.
Starwood cat, are you petting?
So you see Eldrin, and he's writing and scribbling away and reading.
Oh my. This is
Thrar will clear his throat in the doorway.
He looks up. He goes, oh, yes. So, I've been going through... What was it you wanted me to go through again? Well, Lake Evendom. I don't know. That's what I've been focused on, is Lake Evendom. That's fascinating to me. There are rocks in the north area in these first chapter. It goes through the different types of mosses that are growing on these. Did you know that there are 9 different colors of green on the different rocks on the west shores of Evendom? It's fascinating. I mean, who knew there were that many colors of rocks or of moss on rocks? It's just, I'm trying to find out the different types of mosses there are. This is just amazing.
Have you been reading about moss for 2 weeks?
No, of course not. The lake has more than just moss, the water. Oh, okay, so there are accounts from the cartographer and the boat journals from the boats. There are actually areas in Lake Evendom that are near ice cold in the middle of hot summer. At least that's what the accounts are in this. Can you believe that? Ice cold water in the middle of summer. We're talking winter water. These are look at this. Winter coldness, almost ice in the water in the middle of summer.
And what of the red moon? What of that?
Oh, they didn't have any. I didn't notice any. There is an account of star reflections in the water, and
Stars.
lots of different little stars that turns out to be fish. These little fish that look like star reflections, which reminds me, there are islands that they have in there. Nobody knew this, but there were. Everybody knew there were 2 tombs for the king, one in Gondor and one in Anomenos. But there were actually 2 tombs that nobody knew about. No, there were 2 tombs that everybody knew about, but there were 2 tombs that nobody knew about.
Thrar is like rubbing.
No, hold on. There were 2 tombs. You know of the 2 tombs. People know of the 2 tombs, but there's 2 tombs. There are 2 tombs in Anonymous that nobody knew about. One of them's on the island. One of them they put a tomb in Anonymous to honor the king's tomb that was in Gondor, but they thought because they needed to make it look right, they actually hid things in the other tomb, the third tomb, the second tomb that nobody knew about. On one of the islands. That's I mean, it's not about the lake, so that's not that great, but it's very interesting.
Decoy. There's decoy tombs and then the real tombs. And are there 3 tombs, 2 accounted for, and 1 not?
Yes, there's 2 tombs that people know about, and 2 tombs, people don't know about the 1 tomb.
Okay, so 1 tomb unaccounted for.
That's what I said.
Great.
Yes.
I got it.
She's got it. She understands.
And
Paladin
this-
walks away and starts petting the cats.
One of the cats walks up to Thrar and gently kicks it away.
The fishermen. Now, there's also a note. But the note. Okay, so the fishermen are important. They had some of the fishermen. There were accounts that the book is a little disappointing because it's very good. It's very good at accounting, but then it changes and they start talking about fishermen that are missing or maybe drowned, and all this nonsense about tombs. I wish they had gone into more about the different habitats, but there was a lot about the mosses that I really liked.
The island. There's an island where a tomb is, and fishermen die going there.
Oh, I don't know if they die going there.
We have to be
These
good
were
at
different
riddles to
chapters.
understand you. Just
Different
wondering.
chapters.
Did I naturally get
He
that?
snaps his finger
Oh, do I have to roll?
and he points at you, Aldier. He goes, I completely forgot. I was supposed the symbol on your letter. I know I have that somewhere. I've seen it before. I'll put this book aside. And if you come back tomorrow or later, and he starts looking around, he's like, I know it's in one of these scrolls. I mean, look at his room. He's like, I've seen it. I know I've seen that symbol somewhere before.
Don't worry about it. We gotta go. Let's go.
How much time did Eldrin talk about the moss? I'm just trying to.
Oh, he could have gone on and on. I was praying somebody would interrupt. It's about 11:25.
Okay.
So, what would you all like to
I
do?
just wanted to ask if I can organize just a corner.
Yeah. Tyrion has a sense of maybe that maybe a few more hands than just Eldrin's and Cat Paws might make some quicker work of finding the information that we're looking for. So I have a desire to maybe help search for this symbol in his papers. I'm torn between that and the dread of going through so many things.
Smells a little bit like cat pee in here.
Probably.
You have a couple of things. So yes, you can attempt to assist Eldrin. He said he might be able to find it in a day or two, or 3 or 4. Looking at this place, so you can try to help him. There will potentially maybe be snow coming in later tonight. You would still at 11:30 maybe be able to make it to Archet, and then you have some of the job board stuff and of course all the other rumors.
Yeah, if we were to leave for Archet, we'll probably only get there around 5 in the afternoon. And
Right.
so that doesn't leave us much time to get back, if it will snow. Because it's almost exactly 4 miles from Bree to Archet if you take the road.
I follow the cat someplace. I'll be right back.
Are there places to stay in Archet? We know.
There's definitely places in Combe that you can stay on the way to Archet, which I think that cuts it down a little bit, but Combe's pretty close to Bree.
Yeah, Comb's right on the opposite side of the hill.
Yeah.
So it'll take longer to get to Combe, and then because you have to go through the town, over the hill, and then back down the other side, and then you have to still get to the road because there's no easy path. There's no page am I on? There is. It's not a very well maintained road between Combe and Archet. The fastest route is to just take the Greenway, get out of Bree itself, and then follow the Greenway, and then follow the road to Archet. So, and Thrar, I guess I'll say this in character. I have an acquaintance or a friend in Archet, so if we were willing to risk having to spend the night, we could stay with him.
I think I'm gonna remind people about the message boards, and I found out where Effie's farm is, I should say. And I was wanting to go head up there and help her.
ready to go. I'm still like I got over the smell, and I'm just like having such a good time with these cats. I got 2 cats to come to me. Cookie's nice biscuit. And Trisket, come here. I'm ready to go to Archet. I have been for a while. Just like, it's wonderful to be in this town, but as a older elf, I've made this commitment to Thrar, and I am just aligned with going at any point. I don't have a timeline of sleeping. I can sleep anywhere. In the woods or whatever.
So the way this map that I have is you can go up the greenway and then, which might be a little bit faster up this way to avoid the hill, and then go through trails or tracks or areas to try to get here, or you can try to go through. This is very hilly. A lot of hills to go up and down and through, but it's going to maybe potentially be a little bit more of a path. However, it should be known that Archet isn't exactly a place that wants to welcome people with a nice clear path to their place.
Well, I do have a letter that's been down on me to send to someone in Archet because you might be walking over there.
I apologize. Kyrian. I was trying to help Kyrian get to Archet, right?
Okay.
You need to go to Archet?
Well, yes, I was.
Thrar.
Yeah, the Thrar needed to.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
now I
both
do too.
do?
Now I do too.
Oh.
So I'm telling the group that I have a letter that I was sent out with to message with. So
Sorry,
I would've-
Kyrian.
I
I
would've-
have allergies to these cats, and I like these cats, so I can't think. Continue.
Oh yes. So yes, I would like to join Thrar in this journey to Archet. I do have a task to do there now as well.
Is it decided?
Paladin, will you be going to for Effie?
I am.
We would love your company with us.
No, these messages have been on there for quite a while, so I want to double check and make sure if they still need help, and develop these contacts. Get to know these people here in Bree.
Your heart is so nice, and it's been a pleasure to travel with the Hobbit.
I'll catch up.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad.
Effie's
safe.
farms are going to be, the heather toes are up here. Alright, so where's everybody going?
All right, well, yeah, we're
The 3 of us, can we all part ways at the crossroads?
Oh, actually, I apologize. Nope, that works. Okay, yes.
3 want to go to Archet. 1 wants to go to Effie's.
Well, where's Effie's in relation to? Effie's is up there,
Effie's is up here. So
And you
they
said
own
there
a
was-
lot of farmland up here.
and then there was, yeah, and there. Where in relation here are the other farms? Yeah,
These are the Thistledew farms. So you have
Oh, okay.
Tolman, Bob, and Will. And then you have, just kind of minor farms here. And then you have the Heather Toes, which are up here. And they also have some land down here in the homestead area.
Okay. So just a sec here. So was it all 3 two of the farms had the stolen crops? With the bandit
Will.
problem?
I believe it was
Or-
Will that had the stolen crops, and Bob needed help, and Tolman was well off.
Here, I'm gonna go to Bob's farm first, I guess.
Okay, so you go to Bob's farm. And are you guys heading up the Greenway, or are you heading through Combe?
Thrar is probably going to opt to take the greenway, because that's the route he always
In a
takes.
stack of papers organizing in the corner. Because he's not here. Well, let's
Okay.
go.
We'll say you take the... Oh, that didn't work. We're going to say you take the greenway up. So you're about here. You go into...
Is that okay? Gotta go, Tyrion. Stop organizing in the corner.
Thrar picks up his mule from the stable on the way.
That's why you guys don't get your animals, because I rush you.
I want an animal. My horse misses me, and that guy yelled at me, and I need it.
Alright, so you have your horse, and it is older, but it's at least not skin and bones, and you have your mule, and so you guys have your horses and mules now.
Tyrion, you can walk. I'm just kidding. Do you have one too?
No, I don't have a horse. I will walk, but I am quite swift. I don't mind to walk.
Okay.
I was going to ask, sorry to step out for a minute. If we agreed on to meet back up at somewhere at a certain point, since we were splitting up.
I mean, if Paladin is only stopping at the Thistledew Farms, we can stop with him and then continue on our way. If we're assuming that we're spending the night in Archet, then we can take an extra hour or two on the route. That shouldn't be a problem, regardless of whether the snow comes or not.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, and I agree with the hours. Paladin, would you like help at the Thistledew Farm?
I think,
The more the merrier, but
No,
I didn't want to
worry.
hold up the party.
It's on our way.
no, I think kind of what I was alluding to. Although I don't think our lore master would do anything of such sort, but kind of as a agreement on when to meet up, so as to expect to find each other somewhere, and if not, then maybe something could have gone wrong. Kind of like when Gandalf told Frodo when to meet, and if they did not see each other, then it was like, where is Gandalf?
So, Paladin, Thar, when are we expected back? And can we come back to meet Paladin at these farms?
It would be quite a trek. It's about 4 miles to Archet and back.
So 2 days?
At a good pace, we can make it in 5 hours each way.
But so 5 hours each way, but split between tonight and tomorrow after the errand, which could delay us.
I would.
So we could meet back at the inn that we're at in 2 days' time, because we'll want to rest after our hike. We'll want food and things, so we could all come back and meet at the Bree Tavern in approximately 2 days, giving you extra time to finish your socializing of the local folk.
I'm probably going really deep into this, but should we agree to meet at the Prancing Pony in 2 days' time, if not earlier?
Agreed.
Just as a party agreement to make sure that we all doing well.
Yeah, the slowing down's good, right? Like figuring that was very real conversation.
Mm-hmm. Something we go on a hiking trip.
If we don't come back from Archet, we like knowing you.
If you don't come back from Archet in 2 days.
So something's horribly wrong.
Yes.
Okay, so
Have fun.
you guys are heading up.
Apparently so.
I'm getting eggs out of the farm hen house.
I don't know what Bob needs.
Alright, because Paladin is a little bit closer where he's at.
In 2 days. That's right.
So it's very snowy, and you can see Bob's farm here. I don't really have the road, but this is the east road, and you have your party's moving up this way at this point. They're probably hanging out here as they're walking, and you see these two houses. This is the first one that I indicated as Bob's.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to the house.
Okay.
See if I can see anyone.
There's nobody outside. You see, some sheep and some cows, and they're kind of in their stalls.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to the main house and knock on the door.
Okay, so you knock on the door. You see a large man open the door almost immediately. I saw you coming up the path. You don't often see a hobbit by themselves walking out here in these parts. What can I help you with?
Well, I noticed that you have a sign for you needed some help with on the job board at the tavern at the Prancing Pony.
The job board at the Oh, that was last spring. It's winter. Yeah, I can always use help. Will you be around in the spring?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm traveling with a party that went up to Archet, and I'm just trying to help get to know people around here and help out where I can.
Well, that's nice. I'm trying to think of what I could even use help with right now. I mean, I've got, I have, I guess, some compost that could be churned a bit, leaves and whatnot, but it's not enough to keep you busy. But I can at least give you some soup or something for your trouble for coming out. I need to take that sign down. I haven't been to the pony in a while.
Okay. Yes, I'd come in for a bowl of soup and...
Alright, so he invites you in and sets you down for some soup in his nice home that he has. And this party up here, you guys are all traveling into... we're going to fast forward you a little bit while Paladin's having some soup and getting to know Bob. And we'll put it at about here. So you guys are kind of coming in through some farmlands and some woods and some meadows that you've been traversing through. And we'll put you down here. So you see, as you're walking, you've been looking at your maps, Thrar, to kind of guide you guys in as close as you can, but now you just see a wall of trees. And even though you have this aerial view, this is from one of your sketches that you have. So as you're walking through the woods and the snow, there's no trail. You find no trail whatsoever. So I need one of you to choose to be the guide and start to do some rolling of dice.
I wonder how Thrar got an aerial view of this.
Oh, it's a sketched out drawing that somebody tried to do roughly, which is why it's pretty inaccurate.
I will do it. I will take the lead because I have
explore. We'll do an explore or a travel.
Okay. I will do travel because I have favored. I have 3 tips, and I have one of my useful items, which is annotated maps, which gives me a +1 on travel. So I get to roll with 4. So that is
crossing universes.
So that is a 19 with 1 Tengwar, and my target is 16.
Okay, so Oh, that's not what we want to move.
The tree's moving.
Yeah, the tree's
no.
moving.
There's no
So as you're walking through, you're making progress through you've visited your friend before, and as you're walking through the woods and just feeling a little disorientated, you see a large, jagged stone that has a very unique hook in it that you remember. And so you have kind of a bearing of where you're at now, a little bit. And as you move on and you're going, okay, I know we're not too far away at this point, you start to get a little lost again. And so we need you to do another travel roll.
Travel roll. That is a 24 with 2 Tengwars.
Oh, wow. Okay. So as your party is moving through the woods, a little bewildered and a little bit like you're keeping your wits about you. You know where you're going, right? And sure enough, you forgot about the 2 trees that had grown in to each other and had somehow split into almost a T that you had recalled from years past. And you see this tree off in the distance, and you know this is another landmark, that you are very close now to Archet, almost probably to a point where you'd be coming into some of the main areas. But you're not quite out of the woods yet.
Roll again. Ooh, that's 21, no Tengwars.
Okay. As your party is walking along, Kyrian, you're the first one to hear. Actually, I apologize, Aldia, you're the first one to hear a little bit of a howl or a whimper.
That was.
In the distance. And you've been hearing something this whole time, but it's starting to get a little bit louder. And as you come out of the woods, Kyrian, you and Aldia are kind of noticing this because Thrar, you're tracking. But you start to see some figures in front of you that are beginning to growl a little bit at you. And
oh, I just learned. Right?
You do see a trail,
New
but
power.
you do see a trail, but
Those wargs?
but instead of the success for the trail, what you see
They're
is
probably just wolves, right? But I want wargs. But just wolves. But there could be wargs.
what you see is 3.
Just wolves. Wargs.
It looks to be 3 wolves that are on the trail. And they're backing away a little bit, but they're not running
Puppies.
away, and they're kind of growling. One of them does a bark at you.
Thrar is just engrossed in the map and like looking. And,
I have been traveling. I'm not totally, I'm cautious. I'm pretty sure my ranger friend has seen packs of wolves. I'm sure that we're traveling, right? This is not like a unnormal occurrence to see some wolves. But I don't want us to be seen as a weak party. And did we pack any meat products on us? Because I'm an elf. I eat lots of salad, so it's even easier for me. So
well, unfortunately, your hobbit is not. He's usually the food mule.
Right. and Kyrian, I'm sure that you packed it like really tight in your leather, so it's like not like fully smelled, so you can't smell it, right? And you probably have a really good metal urn.
I don't want to be
car.
smelled.
I will allow that you knew you were going on a 4.
Check. I am wanting to
everybody's got a little bit of food because you knew you were going on a journey with some snow. So we'll say that. Did anybody do an upgrade in wisdom? Did anybody in the fellowship phase do an upgrade in wisdom? You did? Okay, so you got a level 2 in wisdom, so you had enough wisdom to pack a little bit of food with you because you heard snowstorm and 4 hours and we're not sure what's happening. Yep. So yes, you've got some bread and some meat on you.
Okay, so we do have meat on us. Alright, so what I'm trying to discern is to probably, like, intimidate a little bit or something, like, kind of look... Oh. Hey, everybody, there's a pack of wolves over there. And I would like to believe, like, look like we're hunting... Like, look at them? Because, you know, when you look at... Oh, actually, you don't want to look at dogs. So how would you handle a pack of wolves in that I've never encountered? We don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves, but we... this is weird. LDA... Can... We're a pack. They're a pack. That's cool. There's a wolf pack over there. And they're looking at us. Weapons out, maybe, but I'm not really that scared of them. I don't know how to be more, like... Do I know anything in Elvish? Okay, so this is really weird. I'm like, can we all howl? So that they disarm themselves and then continue on our walk. Because then they'll be more disoriented at most. And we are taller and
they
bigger
could all
than them.
do either an awe roll or a song roll.
Okay, good.
Oh, so you're asking us all to howl?
Yes. I'm asked. If I was alone, I wouldn't really. I'd probably be able to.
Thrar refuses.
Climb up the tree or something.
Yeah. He takes out his mattock just in case, but he's not going to howl like a wolf.
Well,
I'm not one to question the way of elves, but I let you say, you know, I don't. I think maybe she knows something I don't. But I decide to just kind of observe them because just kind of what they're I think as a
I've just proved dominance in canine culture.
Observation of nature, you know, observation of their movements and kind of trying to read whether what they're doing is of a threatening nature or maybe of a fearful nature.
I think awareness or hunting, I'll allow for that one.
For mine. Yeah.
But let's start with Aldier. So Aldier, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. My awe needs to hit strength and 16, and so I think I got that. Oh no, I didn't. 14. I'll spend a hope.
It's favored too, 9? So you get two.
Oh, I get 2.
You get the better of the one.
Oh, is this a 9 or 6? 6. Under 6. Yeah. Well, that didn't really help with it very much.
Just a little closer.
A little bit. So then I'm going to ask. So I got a 7, 6 with a Tengwar, and then a 2. So 8 plus 7.
15.
Oh, then I hit it. I have 16. Oh no, I have 1.
You use hope to.
Sorry, it's been a little while. We were all talking a lot and we forgot about dice. So 7, 6, and 2 equals 15, leaving me 1 short from my target number, which is 16. Is that... Have I communicated my role?
Yes.
Great. And I have 1 Tengwar. Now, I assume I need to, out of game, need to roll another.
If you want,
dice.
you can spend a hope. Yeah.
Spend the hope to roll another
Perfect.
d6.
So. Perfect. I got a 4 to add on to that, so I'm well over. And that's the end of my roll.
And you have one success because you have a 6 and you pass
17.
your target.
So, what were you doing again? So the wolves hear you, and they actually start growling a little bit.
I was gonna get our actual dog to howl.
So they hear you, and they start growling a little bit more, but they back their hindquarters together and almost back around something. So they're backing up, and they're snarling pretty menacingly at you, but backing around something, and they have their hindquarters together. So, Kyrian, you're doing...
If they were friendly and not meaning us ill will, they would have dispersed. And now I know that there's something there. And they're evil.
Okay. I'm going to do a hunting roll. Right? You said I could use a hunting roll. Ooh. Take that for sure. That was I got a Gandalf and then 2 5s.
Okay. So with your hunting, which acts as a tracking, you notice a chain from one of the trees moving over towards the wolf, and you see what the wolves are around, and you see a leg in a trap. So it's another wolf behind them.
I look over at Aldier and say, it seems that a member of their pack might have their leg in a trap.
Well done.
They might be, perhaps they're defending their injured member.
That will be tough to approach with success.
Defending one of their own.
But we have to work together. To walk together.
Thrar, you've been quiet.
Yeah. Thrar, dwarves are not fond of animals in general. There's a reason he kicked Eldrin's cat.
Oh.
So,
I'm not the best at animals for my, elvins we have a inclination, so I just started the communication. Are you wanting to hold back then, since you don't do you not like animals?
Thrar will start walking off the path in one direction and motion to Kyrian and Aldier to go the other way. He's gonna basically try and distract their attention.
Oh, what are you doing?
They can,
Thrar.
I don't know. What would that be? That would probably be persuade, I'm assuming. I don't know. What would I roll for that? To try and distract them?
I just broke the silence because they're not going to attack us. And I was like, Thrar, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would say
Where are
if
you
you're
going?
trying to distract them, persuade is about right.
Okay, I don't have any pips in persuade, so here goes.
Marianne, thanks for that.
And it's a Gandalf room.
Oh, wow.
No pips, not favored, but a Gandalf room.
I get it.
Wow.
Okay,
This way.
so tell us what you're doing.
So Thrar is basically just wants to get their attention. He heard what Kyrian said, and so he's leading his mule, which is a source of food, theoretically, for the wolves. But he knows they're not really hunting. So he's just going to move right and start moving counterclockwise around them to just get their attention. And stepping as loudly and uncarefully as possible, breaking as many twigs as he can.
Doing what dwarves do well.
Yes.
So it is obviously effective, and they're still protecting their friend, but they're now pivoting and just looking at you and staring at you to see what you're up to, and they're getting a little bit more snarly as they're doing it because they can see that you're acting to them almost as a predator. All right, Kyrian and Aldier, what are you going to do with this?
We were having a discussion, and
Yeah.
I asked him in game, Kyrian, are you gonna go in to help this wolf?
Yes, I feel for this wolf. It is clearly in distress, and it's like a family member being injured, and they're only trying to defend their family member. So I must do what is right.
Okay.
So I will attempt to go the other way
Great.
and try to free them from the trap.
Should I also be a distraction then, and maybe grab some of? Can I have some of your the meat you have? You are on foot, and I'm on the horse.
Correct.
So.
So I'll reach in and hand you a piece from my pack.
Okay.
And then begin to kind of make my way away from the wolf's gaze to kind of try to get to that trap on the other side.
Okay, so
Silently, I think I'm also agreeing with Thar's tactic now that I know. Like, I didn't know, but now I see how it is. So if we're breaking off to distract the rest of the pack a little bit, and instead I'm welcoming the pets, the wolves to come to the meat. Right? So whose turn is it exactly?
we'll start, I think, with you, Aldier, because it's 2 distractions and then a stealth check from Kyrian. So for you, I believe that you're also doing a persuade.
It was 0 persuade. That's why I'm being like, what are you doing? And what's going on? And I'm like, I have stealth. That is not going to work. So they don't, I don't know what's happening. Like, I attempted to be smelly with meat because I don't think that I had meat before.
You just roll for your stealth.
Stealth. Okay. Great. But I'm trying to be seen.
Or, I'm sorry, persuade. I apologize. You're rolling for
I
persuade.
only have 1 dice in persuade.
Yep.
It has to get above a 15, which means I spend more hope.
Yeah, Gandalf.
Well, you get a 12-sided dice, and then do you have any pips?
Oh, I get 1 12-sided dice.
Always get a 12-sided.
Not. Yeah, I forgot my favorite thing. I got a. Nope. This is
9.
great. The odds are really against me, folks, because I do math and probability and statistics. So that's fun. Okay, so sorry.
What was your number?
I'm learning in this game that you don't always get what you want. Everyone likes to see this face. I deserve it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. But I don't know what to do. I'm sorry.
Aldier, what was your numbers? Just so I need to help.
Right. Failure is a part of life. Equalizing that failure is how you learn. So I have a 3, 6 of the Tangwar, and my target number is 15. So I did not make it.
Yes. So, you have the meat that you're trying to get out, and you
I
yourself.
can spend 1 hope, right?
Yep. Would you like to?
2 hopes down. So I need to make sure that that's correct on the paper. And then I think that I do want to. It's the bad idea, but I howled.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make face with these people that are my friends, comparatively to all of the other times that I haven't been doing very good. So
1 more.
Oh, you can't spend more hope. You only get 1.
I only got a 1.
Got a 1. Okay. So you get the meat from Kyrian, and as you are taking the meat out, and the dogs are not really taking note at all, you even try to smell it, and it has no scent to it. It's just very non-flavorful smelling meat at all that you're holding.
It's like jerky. It's dehydrated.
And they're not even noticing you smelling this because they're so fixated on Thrar right now in a protective way. So, Kyrian, you have a stealth roll?
Yes, I can do stealth roll.
Oh no.
That's awesome.
How do you want to do that? So I got an I with 4. However,
I is an instant fail, right? If I remember the rules correctly.
Mm-hmm.
well, could my virtue overwrite that?
What's your virtue again?
Foresight of the kindred.
And what does that do?
Where in my book?
Or what's the effect?
I need to.
He's looking it up.
I need to.
Oh.
Sorry, I had it. I wrote it down, but not distinctly enough.
You can reroll. You can do it up to 2 times per adventure phase, and you can just reroll everything that you just rolled, or you can give it to another member of the party.
So 2 times in an adventure phase, you can reroll all your dice, right?
Yes, the entire
I'm recalling this one now.
roll can be redone.
So would this count as that?
Yeah, I would say.
And you can do it at any time. It says page 88, by the way.
Oh, thank you. The number of times equal to my wisdom rating. Okay, it's just 2. Okay. So, and would that overwrite, would be like that?
You replace it with
previous roll
whatever
never
you rolled.
happened?
Yes.
Okay.
You reroll the whole thing. All the dice, not just the one.
Okay, I
However
would like
many
to
dice you rolled, you
the
reroll
foresight
them.
of my kindred.
Okay.
Something feels off about what I just did. Let me think about this. Okay. Those are better odds. 9, 13, 14, 15. And then my target number is 16, so I would like to spend a hope.
It's hard to hit those numbers.
Yes, it is. And that is a Tangwar 6.
Oh, nice. So as you're stealthily moving through the woods, you're getting up to the chain. They're not noticing you at all, and you start to get the chain off of the tree. You sense something behind you, and as you turn around, you see 3 people walking up. And one of them is hooded and has a bow. The other one has a staff. He's older with a beard. And there's a woman with a bow and a staff. And they said, were you the ones howling? The man with the beard, he's like, were you the ones just howling and making all the noise?
Yes.
He's talking to Kieran. You're over there in the other.
I have really good hearing.
Sorry. They came up to me while I was trying to sneak around, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you the ones? Were you the ones howling and making all the noise and racket?
That was us, mainly our elf companion.
The bearded man shakes your hand. Thank you. He's like, these are our dogs. And so the other 2 go around, and you see the dogs calm down, and they're undoing the chains and dealing with the one that got caught in the trap. as the bearded man introduces himself as Harold Brackenbrook, and he is the warden of Archet. And he's like, is that elf with you
I proudly say,
over there?
yes, she is.
And this dwarf?
And I even more proudly say, exactly.
He looks a little...
Do I recognize
Normally
him?
we don't like elf kind, but you're welcome. Your party is welcome for saving our dogs. And they're not really dogs so much as slightly domesticated guard wolves that we've give meat to, and it's a relationship. They help us and we help them, and they're kind of our I don't know what you would call them, but we like them. So thank you very much, and your party is welcome.
Do I recognize Harold or any of the other two? It's been about 50 some years since I was, or not 50 some, about 20 some years since I was last in Archet.
Harold's name, if you heard it, sounds familiar. The Brackenbrook name being the warden of Archet. You would have known him not being, he's stocky and a man now. He would have been younger and in his 30s and probably more athletic. So you probably don't recognize him, but you may recall the name Brackenbrook as being maybe you probably would have known his father, Henry.
Seeing this, Thrar comes back to the group, seeing the two people taking care of the wolves, and he squints and looks up at Harold. Little Harold, is that you?
I'm afraid I don't know who you are, but I'm nobody really calls me little. He's about 6'2".
Yeah, Thrar is like 4'5". Is your father is no longer the warden?
Oh, he passed some time ago. You knew my father?
I did. I was last in Archet some 20 years ago.
And you're bringing elves.
Unfortunately.
If it wasn't for you saving these dogs, I don't know about this elf person over here.
She's harmless. I wouldn't worry too much, but it's been some 20 years, and I figured it was time for me to visit Henry Birchtree, a friend of mine.
Henry, yeah. Henry Birchtree. I have not seen him in a while. I think he's got he has the house. It's a little farmhouse right outside the main gate. I believe he gave that to a family.
That is
maybe a year or two ago.
That is ill news. And you do not know where he has gone?
Oh, he's an odd one. He kind of wandered here and there to begin with, but no, I'm not really sure where. He may have gone up to Woodcastle, or he could have. Well, who knows? You know, he was always looking into this and looking into that. There's a haunted wood. He might have found that interesting. It's kind of northeast.
I see.
He could have gotten up to a couple of things.
And you said he left 2 years ago now?
I would say a year or two ago, yeah. I don't really keep accounts on people that much. I just want to make sure that we're safe out here in Archet and that we're, keeping everybody together and away from harm.
Well, that is a noble endeavor. Though it's a bit disappointing to know that he is no longer in Archet. Very curious.
Yes, he may be around. I just haven't seen him.
I see. Well, thank you for the news, ill though it may be.
Yeah, thank you. And if you're looking, maybe start with people that took his house. They might know something. So with that, they are working with the dogs and trying to mend the dogs. And you can actually see Archet's gate Which is not too far away. This over here. So you're now up here by Archet's gate, and we can cut to.
I actually have to go.
Okay, so we're gonna pause there.
Sorry, guys.
And we were gonna cut to Paladin, but we will pause on that point, and when we come back, we'll see how good Bob makes stew, and find out what's going on with Henry. All right.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Thank you.
All right.